Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year again. It is where I book the entirety of WrestleMania 40. I did the same thing last year for WrestleMania 39. I really enjoyed it. I kept my promise. At the end of the last video, I said that I was going to do this again next year, and we are back. So last year was very fun for me to make these type of videos. So yes, I will be fantasy booking WrestleMania 40. Starting off with night 1, match 1, Jey Uso or Jim Uso in a tribal combat match, with Rikishi being a special guest referee. I kind of wanted to keep that a surprise, but doesn't really matter. So currently, as of recording, Jey Uso is on Raw and Jimmy is on SmackDown. To get both Usos back on the same brand, I'll just have Jimmy be traded back to Raw, and I'll keep Jey on Raw after the Royal Rumble. But right now, Survivor Series is coming up, and if WWE decides to have Wargames this year, the match would probably be the Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso. So this would probably mean that Jey Uso will be busy at least up until Survivor Series. So to be honest with you, after thinking, I don't really know what Jey does after the War Games match. So let's just move on over to Jimmy. So as of recording, Jimmy is trying to get back into the bloodline. He's trying to earn Roman's respect. So this time, Roman Reigns returned a month ago to build up his match with Seth Rollins as Survivor Series champion versus champion. So at Survivor Series, Roman wins the match against Seth Rollins. Jimmy, after Survivor Series, is looking hopeless. He has nothing going. Jimmy aligned himself with Solo, but he fully lost it and turned heel on Jimmy Uso. So at this point, Jimmy is all alone, and Roman isn't with him. Solo isn't with him. He's all alone on SmackDown. He got betrayed, basically. So now Jimmy is still hated, and he's still a massive heel, don't get me wrong. The next week on SmackDown, Roman Reigns calls out anyone in the locker room, and Jimmy Uso is the one to confront Roman Reigns. At this time, Jimmy and Roman haven't really met since Jey Uso kicked Jimmy Uso, when he turned. So now this video isn't really called Jimmy vs Roman, so I'll move through this little storyline quickly. So Jimmy acts like he's the victim. Roman doesn't really care. He's ready to fight Jimmy. So boom, bang, tang, boom, blah, blah, blah. Jimmy Uso is Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns retains. Not really a big match. So now this will lead Jimmy Uso to being absolutely furious on SmackDown, because during the build up to the Roman Jimmy match, Jimmy kept saying that he's gonna do what Jey Uso couldn't do and beat Roman Reigns for the world title. But I guess that didn't happen. So Jimmy lost at the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns retained. So the SmackDown after the Royal Rumble, Jimmy Uso has a backstage promo especially dedicated for Jey Uso. He tells him that during his feud with Roman, the only thing he learned, he says that during his feud with Roman Reigns, he learned that Jey Uso is still trying to be the bigger guy. He's trying to be the tribal chief on Monday Night Raw, and the jealousy builds more and more. Jimmy sees the type of reactions that Jey gets on Raw, like, everyone cheers, they do the little thing, but when I come out, it's just dead quiet. And sometimes I even get booed, like, what did I do to deserve this? Let me tell you something, Jey. I've spoken with Pierce, and well, be ready Monday. Jimmy then leaves the scene. This basically means that Jimmy Uso might be coming to Monday Night Raw, who knows. So the next week on Raw, we see Jey Uso in the building. As soon as he gets in the building, he's immediately getting interviewed by someone, with the microphone, all that. They asked Jey his thoughts about Jimmy coming to Raw. Jey is furious, and he just leaves. He doesn't give the person an answer. So we still have a lot of questions. He storms into the ring and he calls out Jimmy Uso out. Jey yells into the mic and says, nah, I made it clear that I don't want you here. I made it clear that you don't belong here. I'm also the guy that made it clear that this is main event Jey Uso's show. Ever since I got traded here, life's been great. I don't gotta deal with Roman. I don't gotta deal with Solo. And especially, I don't want to deal with Jimmy. So it all seems like you want to start. So to me, it kind of seems like you want to start something. Now after saying all that, Jey Uso calls out Jimmy again, and he demands Jimmy to confront him man to man, but he gets no answer. We cut to commercial break. Jey Uso is still standing there. Now this segment has gone over 10 minutes. Jey is just waiting, taking shots at Jimmy Uso. So Adam Pearce confronts Jey Uso and tells him to leave the ring. Jey makes it clear that he's not leaving until Jimmy Uso confronts him. Adam Pearce tries to escort Jey out of the ring, but Jimmy then comes through the crowd. He was there the whole time. He slowly comes down while Jey Uso stares a hole down his face. Jimmy grabs the microphone, gets real close to him, and says, Uce versus Uce. And then he leaves. Jay looks back at Jimmy not knowing what to do, but then that's how the segment ends. So basically, Jimmy Uso is now trying to challenge Jey Uso to a match. Now the next week on Raw, Jey Uso is in a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber match. So throughout his qualifying match, Jey Uso is kind of worried because now he has to worry about Jimmy and him getting in his way. Jay fears that Jimmy might try to stop him from qualifying. Now this year, the men's elimination chamber match is for the #1 contendership of Roman Reigns championship, and then Jay wins his qualifying match. But the Raw before the elimination chamber match, Jay has a message for Jimmy backstage. He warns Jimmy that he should not be anywhere near the elimination chamber match, and if he interferes in the match, he's gonna get a massive whooping. So it's the Elimination Chamber match, pay-per-view, all that. And Jay is the second person to enter the Chamber match. The other people in the match is Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Bronson Reed, and Bobby Lashley. Everyone has a shot to earn a WrestleMania main event. The match starts with Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre, who have serious history. And then Bobby Lashley enters the chat. He goes straight away for Drew McIntyre. Sheamus then comes in and Bobby Lashley gets distracted by Drew. And then he catches a bro kick right in the face. So Bobby Lashley is now down. Drew and Sheamus go at it, but then Cody Rhodes comes out in number 5. And then number 6, Big Bronson Reed explodes through the pod, feeling hungry. Then Sheamus is able to land a kick on Bobby Lashley and he eliminates him. While Sheamus is celebrating, he catches a Claymore for McIntyre and then he's gone. Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are the two fan favorites in this match, and they have mutual respect for one another. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes go at it. Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes team up against Drew and they get him out. Bronson Reed gets eliminated by Crossroads, Uso splash, another Crossroads, and then Jey Uso pins him. Now the only two people left in the ring is Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. They shake hands and then they say whoever wins, I guess whoever wins, right? They go at it for another like around 10 minutes. Jay is in a good position right now. Cody is down, he's hurt. You know, he has to take advantage of the opportunity. Yeah, it's a one-on-one match, so yeah, that makes sense. But then Jimmy Uso comes in underneath the ring, Shawn Michaels style, and just starts physically abusing Jay. After leaving a huge statement, just beating up Jey Uso. There's no disqualifications in this match, by the way, so it's perfectly legal. Jimmy Uso leaves, and then Cody takes advantage of the opportunity, and then he pins Jey Uso. 1, 2, 3. Now Cody Rhodes is going on to face Roman Reigns for the World Championship. And now after Cody wins, he helps Jay up, but he's pissed. He's not pissed at Cody. He's pissed at Jimmy Uso. So now the Raw after the Elimination Chamber, Jimmy has a message for Jay. Backstage, he says to Jay, "You think I'm just gonna let you get another chance at Roman? See, you've already gotten your chance. You tried 3 times, and you obviously can't beat him. You tried at SummerSlam, you tried 2 other times before that, and look what happened. Superman punch, spear, distraction, 1, 2, 3. Listen to me, Jay. I just saved you from an ass whooping." Jimmy laughs and walks out of the ring. The Raw after the Elimination Chamber, Jey Uso wasn't at Raw to respond to Jimmy. But next week, Jey Uso is out to respond to Jimmy. He comes out of the ring and lays out some facts. Says that every single thing that Jimmy said ain't true. Yeah, I might have not beaten Roman, but all I can think is why. See, there was a figure wearing all black at SummerSlam. Somehow, someone got to ringside during my match against Roman Reigns and pulled me out of the ring while I was going for the pin. And then he also decided to super kick me and then abuse me and then make sure I didn't win the title. I was trying to figure out who it was. But then, of course, it was you. And now, after all that, I don't know what makes you think that I can't beat Roman Reigns when I already did. But if you like bringing up the past, I'll bring up the past. Royal Rumble 2024, Jimmy Uso was Roman Reigns. What happened there? Even though Sikoa turned on Roman Reigns and spiked him, Roman still got his ass up to game end you. Now that's embarrassing. Bringing up the past really sparked anger in Jimmy. And then Jimmy comes out to the ring to confront Jey Uso, and this is the first time they're face to face since what happened at the Elimination Chamber. Jimmy says to Jay, "I think you know what I want. I think you know what I want, so we need to make it happen right now. Jimmy Uso challenges Jey Uso to a match at WrestleMania, but Jey is still fighting the urges. He still has a little bit of guilt in fighting his brother. So after hearing all that, Jey is still like, he walks out, you know, or at least tries to. When Jimmy Uso sees Jey trying to walk out, he grabs him and stops him. He super kicks Jey Uso from behind and lays him flat. So far, Jey Uso hasn't really gotten much physical with Jimmy, but Jimmy has. But that's gonna change soon. So the segment ends with Jey Uso laying on the ring flat while Jimmy walks away with the ones up. With 4 weeks away from WrestleMania, Jey Uso comes down to the ring demanding Jimmy Uso to come out. Instead of Jimmy, Rikishi is the one to confront Jey Uso. He makes his way down to the ring while Jey Uso is kinda shocked. He picks up the microphone and he begins to talk about the issue between Jey and Jimmy. Rikishi says to Jey, "You need to accept the challenge. I'm tired of seeing the same thing every week. My two sons fighting over the most ridiculous reasons. Jimmy challenged you to a tribal combat match, and you need to accept that. The only way to put an end to this is in tribal combat. As much as it pains me to say this, but it's the only way." When Jimmy Uso hears this, he's happy. He's ecstatic. He comes out to the ring with a big ol' smile on his face because he thinks Rikishi is on his side. So he lines up Rikishi and says to Jey, "Yeah, he's on my side." But then Rikishi stops him right there. See, I'm not on either one of your side. I don't condone any of your actions. But then he talks over to Jey and he says that the only humble thing that you can do right now is to have a tribal combat match at WrestleMania. So Rikishi asks Jey one more time. But Jey Uso grabs the mic from Rikishi and he says, "Don't you think I want to do this? See, in the beginning, no. See, I resent myself very, very much from abusing you and taking you out. But after what you did to me last week and the week before that and the years before that, I don't care if April 6th is your last day on earth. I accept." Jey Uso slams the mic on the floor and then leaves. But he blocks, but then Jimmy Uso is furious because now Jey just sent him a death threat. So Jimmy tries to super kick him, but Jey blocks him, and then Jey lays Jimmy out flat. He knew he deserved it. So now Jimmy Uso is on the floor with Jey Uso walking backstage now. So the next week there's a contract signing to make the match official. Rikishi hosts a signing and he says that he's gonna be the special guest referee. He calls down the Usos to the ring. Jey comes out first. He immediately signs the contract. Alright, so when Jimmy arrives, he comes out and sits right away. He doesn't sign the contract right away. He stares at Jey, but Jey then questions Jimmy. Why isn't he signing the contract, he says. So Jimmy responds by saying, "I needed to do this." Jey then answers, "Because you didn't want me to become the tribal chief? Or is it because I was the only one to pin Roman? Is your jealousy so high that all you do is bring up the past?" Jimmy then brings up when he was in the hospital. "Remember when Roman Reigns took me out? They beat both of us up. You were on SmackDown challenging Roman for his titles at SummerSlam while I was on the hospital bed, lying, dying, trying to figure out what was going on." After hearing this from Jimmy, Jey has like a guilty face on his look. He does feel bad for what he did because he left Jimmy Uso in the hospital. He didn't even visit him. He went straight for the titles. So at this point, both Usos are bringing up solid points, and the crowd doesn't know who the good guy is anymore. They don't know who to cheer. After bringing up the past for the 53rd time, Jimmy Uso then signs the contract. Rikishi states that now the contract is signed, there is no physical touch between both of you until WrestleMania. If they engage in contact, the match is off. The Usos now know what to do, and they know what not to do because they both need this match to happen. So the next week is the second to last Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. What happens is that Jimmy has a backstage message for Jey. He talks about his jealousy. He admits that the reason why he's fighting Jey is jealousy. He is jealous of everything. See, you were the right-hand man. Roman always depended on you. Even when I was the older one, you still got all the attention. You're the one with the main event in your name. You come to Raw, everyone was happy, everyone cheers for you. When I come to Raw, they told me to go back to SmackDown. Hell, not even SmackDown, they told me to go home. You took away opportunity after opportunity away from me, every single goddamn one. When I beat you at WrestleMania, I'm gonna show the world who really is the main event Uso. And why Jey Uso is the biggest fraud of all time." And then that's how the promo ends. So later in that night, Jey Uso does the same thing. He goes to the same place where Jimmy Uso recorded his message and makes one of his own for Jimmy. He says that he's not wrong for taking advantage of the opportunities that he earned. Jay makes it clear that everything given to him was not on a silver platter. I was the only one to realize that Roman was lying to us. I tried to save you, but you never listened. Remember Money in the Bank when we defeated Roman and Solo? That moment, I knew that you were the most trustworthy person that I've ever met. And then a month later, you decided to do what you did. At that point, I don't even know how to feel anymore. You turning my back on me was the biggest mistake you could have done. And that's exactly what's gonna happen at WrestleMania. I'm gonna turn my back on you at WrestleMania under the brightest lights inside the grandest stage in Philly. I'm gonna humble you, and that's how it ends. The next week, nothing happens, so it is time to jump right into WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania 40, Night 1, Match 1, with everyone eager to see the final closing finale to this feud. Rikishi is already in the ring waiting for the Usos to arrive, and then Jay comes out to a massive crowd reaction. He has the entire crowd in the palm of his hands. The Philly crowd are definitely on Jay's side. And then as soon as Jimmy comes out, it's not raining as much boos, but people still do not like him. The match is underway, and then the stare down begins. This match has been hyped up for such a long time. The bell rings, and Jimmy Uso low blows Jay Uso right from the beginning. Jimmy tries to grab a table and set it up in the corner, but Jay gets back up and takes Jimmy down. He hits a Samoan drop. Jay sees the table that Jimmy put up and throws it at him. When Jimmy gets back up, he slows down a little bit, and then they casually wrestle for like 5 to 10 minutes. But then they go outside the ring. Jimmy has some serious plans. He sets a table up, but it didn't work. The table setup didn't work, and he wanted to try it again. So Jimmy sets Jay on the flaming table, and he successfully puts Jay Uso through a flaming table. Jimmy gets a bunch of other weapons from the ring. He has a kendo stick in his hands. He lays Jay Uso down and just starts beating him with the kendo stick. Jay Uso is beat the fuck up with the kendo stick. Throughout the entire match, Rikishi rethinks his decision of persuading Jay Uso to agree to this match because both of his sons are punishing each other like crazy. Jay Uso somehow manages to reverse one of the kendo stick attacks, and that was the only window of opportunity he had to get back up. So when Jay Uso gets back up, he starts bashing Jimmy with a chair. But then Jay's offense doesn't last too long. Now both Usos are laying on the floor. Jay tries to crawl his way back up to the top rope to go for an Uso splash, while Jimmy gets up and throws Jay at the floor. So now Jimmy goes to the top and does the Uso splash. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, no. It's gonna take more than a splash to end this. So Jimmy gets some more kendo sticks and he beats Jay Uso up. Jimmy is genuinely shocked that he kicked out of the Uso splash, and Jimmy then tries to go up on top one more time. But this time Jay Uso reverses. Jay takes advantage of the opportunity. He hits his first Uso splash on Jimmy. The back and forth is crazy. No one is throwing jabs at each other. Things are getting intense. It's a straight out brawl. It's been 25 minutes of pure drama and madness. Super kick after super kick. Jay Uso hits Jimmy with a super kick, and then another, and then it just keeps going on. Jay Uso now gets the crowd's attention, and he goes up for one final Uso splash on Jimmy. After almost half an hour of pure suffering, Jay Uso pins Jimmy. The match ends with Jay Uso getting his hand raised by Rikishi, but the surprising thing after the match is that Jay Uso picks Jimmy up and he raises his hand as if he won. This might mean that Jay Uso forgives Jimmy for what he's done. And well, that's all. That's it. So this is how I would have booked Jay vs Jimmy at WrestleMania. I know it's a bit too early to be doing this, but I've got plenty of more fantasy booking videos. I have 14 more. After this video, 14 more. Get ready. This ain't even the longest one, but this is a good one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. The next one will be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as the tag team champions. versus D.IY. Welcome back to episode 2 of the WrestleMania 40 fantasy booking video. Today we have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus D.IY for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. So let's just pretend that the Judgment Day aren't the Tag Team Champions, because I feel like that shouldn't have happened. It is cool, but for the sake of this storyline, let's just say they never won the titles at Payback. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are still the champions. And let's just also pretend that Kevin Owens never got traded to SmackDown. So how this begins is that we are currently at the Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been feuding against the Street Profits, and they have a match at the Royal Rumble. It's KO and Zayn versus the Street Profits. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do retain the titles at the Royal Rumble. So now we're gonna fast forward all the way up until the Elimination Chamber. So like the Raw after the Elimination Chamber. Tommaso Ciampa makes a backstage promo, and he states that ever since D.IY debut on Monday Night Raw as a tag team, they have never lost. Not a single match lost. Everyone that done stepped up, they got stepped down. I knew from the very beginning putting me and Gargano in the same team would ascend our careers to the highest of levels. Now Johnny says that, with that being said, we have been scoping out the tag teams that we haven't beat, but there's only one of them, and that is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens still haven't gone through D.IY. It makes me question their chances of winning. So we have a 100% win rate. So what makes you think that you're not safe? Sami, Kevin, those tag titles are coming to us. So Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are in a backstage promo. Sami tries to get an understanding of what D.IY wants, but KO has other plans. He's always, losing it, as always, losing his sanity. So he doesn't understand that if D.IY is asking for a fight. So Kevin Owens now says that if D.IY wants a fight, they can just go to the ring. It makes sense. It just makes sense. So Kevin Owens storms into the ring. Kevin Owens calls out D.IY, but they come dressed in formal gear. They are completely not dressed to complete. Ciampa then states that if we do have a fight, it would be a big deal. So why the hell will we waste it on a random Monday Night Raw in a pathetic little city? So now Gargano says that we don't want to just beat you, but we want to embarrass you. Just like what you did to the Usos last year, me and Ciampa are gonna do it ourselves and claim what should have been ours since we got here. WrestleMania, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus D.IY for the tag straps. What do you say? Before Sami could get a word in, Kevin Owens yells, D.IY, yeah, whatever. As long as I get a fight, it's done, okay? It's official. But don't think you're safe until WrestleMania, because I want to fight next week, whether you like it or not. Doesn't matter which one of you, but next week you better step into this ring and go one-on-one with me, Kevin Owens. And then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn leave the ring. D.IY leaves the ring. The segment ends. So now the match is set with just one little promo. This match isn't that big. The next Raw, it's time for Kevin Owens versus who? Tommaso Ciampa. He answers the challenge with Johnny Gargano in his corner. The match starts and both Sami and Gargano are ringside, and so yeah, the distraction just begin. Eventually Kevin Owens lands a swanton bomb, and Johnny gets scared, so he thinking that Tommaso Ciampa isn't gonna kick out, so he runs into the ring and he saves the match. But this caused a DQ. So Kevin Owens still ended up winning, but it was a DQ match. He and Gargano and Ciampa ran out of the ring. They left the stage, all that. But Kevin Owens is like legit furious at them because he had it won clean, but the shenanigans got the best of him. Gargano didn't want Ciampa to lose. His man gotta lose. So that's why he interfered in the match, cost Owens the victory. Which, Owens did get the victory, but he's still mad that it wasn't clean. The next week we see a D.IY style promo. You guys know, like both Gargano and Ciampa in a black setting with 2 chairs sitting and all that. They talk about Owens and Zayn. Gargano starts off about saying that we're doing whatever it takes to take those tag titles away from you. You saw what we did last week. What makes you think we're not gonna pull a fast one on you when it comes to WrestleMania? You've got to be delusional in the head if you really think that it's not gonna go our way at WrestleMania. Ciampa states that it's been far too long since D.IY have held tag team gold, and now I get what you have been through. Every single tag team that done stepped us in the past few months got stepped down. Every single last one of them on Raw. The only ones left is you. The same will happen to you because I know someone's going insane. I see it in Kevin Owens. I goddamn see it. Every single week he loses it and loses it. It's only a matter of time until he ditches Sami to go solo. That's how the promo ends. So pretty short, but a major plot is going. when Ciampa mentioned that Kevin Owens is slowly going insane, does that mean he's gonna turn on Sami? Does that mean he's gonna go insane? So later in the night, Sami Zayn is by himself in the backstage area trying to look for Kevin Owens. So he's trying to find him, but he hears loud noises. So Sami follows the noises, and it's Kevin Owens absolutely destroying everything in sight. Like, Sami's trying to calm Owens down, but he's just mad. When Kevin Owens calms down, Sami asks Owens that, hey, did you heard what Ciampa said? Is that true? Kevin Owens has no idea what he's talking about, so Sami like explains everything to him, and Kevin denies. He says that Ciampa is lying and there's no truth in people like them. They're just trying to mess with us. So Sami Zayn trusts Owens for now, but he's still a little like skeptical. And the next week, early in the night, a backstage segment happens. D.IY interrupts Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens while they were talking. D.IY talked directly to Sami Zayn and tells him that everything that we said last week is true. It's hard to wrap your head around it, but it's goddamn true. I know it's hard to accept it. And then Gargano gets cut off by Kevin Owens. He starts screaming, and then D.I.Y. starts screaming, and all the four individuals brawl their way into the ring, and a match is made official. Sami Zayn vs Johnny Gargano. The match is underway, and both men are very vicious. Usually Gargano would be actually like wrestling, but this is like a complete brawl. Meanwhile, outside the ring, Owens and Ciampa are constantly making sure that none of them interferes in the match. But Ciampa doesn't trust Owens, so he attacks Kevin Owens, but the referee demands both of them to get out of ringside. Sami Zayn gets distracted, and so Gargano lands a slingshot spears, and he locks in the D.I.Y. submission. Sami Zayn submits. Due to the distraction, Gargano takes home the dub. Kevin Owens is waiting for Sami Zayn backstage in the locker room, and he's not pissed at D.I.Y. He's pissed for Sami because he lost the match. Kevin Owens says that I always rely on you. We have to retain these titles in a few weeks against two men who really want these tag titles. We can't afford to let that happen, or else we'll lose everything. And then Owens storms out. What Ciampa said 2 weeks ago really starts to sound true. Owens is like legit slowly losing it. Sami Zayn starts to get a little bit worried because he does know Kevin Owens for over 20 years. The relationships that they've had always is a bumpy road. It goes up and down. It's never always right. So with 2 weeks left before the big match, to get inside the head of Sami Zayn even more, Johnny Gargano launches a backstage attack against Sami. Kevin Owens is not by his side, so while Gargano is beating up Sami, he says to him that he's gonna leave you. He's gonna drop you. He doesn't need you. He's gonna run off like he always does. But then Kevin Owens eventually saves Sami Zayn from Gargano, and Kevin Owens puts Gargano down. Picks up Sami Zayn and tells him, what the hell were you thinking fighting him by yourself? Could have at least called me or something. Sami told Owens that he attacked me from behind, all that. So Sami once again tells Kevin Owens about what Gargano had told him while he was beating him up. Kevin Owens is absolute sick of this because he doesn't understand why D.I.Y. is saying all this stuff. He says that D.I.Y. is just spreading lies to break us up. Don't believe anything they say or do. Don't take it personally. I'm always here when you need me. The next week, Sami Zayn comes out to the ring to address D.I.Y. Both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are in the ring, and Sami calls out D.I.Y. They actually do arrive, but Sami Zayn has gotten a lot of questions. Before Sami could say anything, Ciampa stops Sami Zayn and tells him to not listen to him, and he points at Kevin Owens while he was sitting on the turnbuckle. Kevin Owens hears that. Some sort of trigger went off in his head. He gets up face to face with Ciampa, but Ciampa proceeds to keep talking. He says that the signs are showing. You two clearly can't be a tag team. I mean, one of you's got anger issues, and one of you can't defend by yourself. There's a big reason why we picked you as our victim. 1, for the tag team titles, and 2, because day by day, you two are slowly turning on each other, and it's just a matter of time. Kevin cuts Ciampa off. He takes away his microphone, and it says, I don't know where you're getting this information from, but you're clearly not making any sense. You're just not. You're just rambling about me turning on my best friend. We're literally the tag team champions. Why do I give a flying fuck would I turn on him? Sami's trying to calm Owens down, but he gets attacked by Gargano. Then Ciampa attacks Owens. All 4 men are brawling in and out the ring. Kevin and Sami get back in the ring. Both of them work together to put away Ciampa and Gargano. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn look down on a down Gargano and a down Ciampa. Kevin Owens then proceeds to tell Sami that he has nothing to worry about. And then they both walk out to the backstage area. The next week is the week before Mania, and D.IY have a promo package. They don't seem to be sad or depressed or anything, but they seem to be filled with joy because they said that the last week, it doesn't matter. The weeks before that didn't matter. In 5 days, we're gonna take home the tag team championships because it's too easy. It's always been easy. We might have gotten the best of us last week, but as I said, the past doesn't matter. The past doesn't define our future. At WrestleMania, everyone is gonna see a D.IY become the new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, and they're also gonna see Kevin Owens turning on Sami Zayn. At WrestleMania, we're gonna do it ourselves, and that's how the promo ends. The last segment, promo, clip, everything related to D.IY and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Done. It's time to lock in WrestleMania Night 1. All 4 men make their entrance, knowing that only 2 men will leave with their straps. The match starts and there's a lot of pressure. It's the first major pay-per-view event for D.IY, and they're pretty much confident because D.IY knows how the match will end. Throughout the entire match, D.IY keeps taunting Sami Zayn and making Kevin Owens more and more furious. When Kevin Owens gets tagged in, he completely destroys both D.IY. It's not really looking too good for them. D.IY tries to double team Kevin Owens while Sami Zayn was laying flat outside the ring. The match goes on for a while, and late into the match, after a gruesome match, Sami Zayn gets tagged in and gets locked in with a do-it-yourself. Immediately, the submission is applied. So Gargano spams Sami Zayn with finishers, and meanwhile, Tommaso Ciampa and Kevin Owens are brawling outside the ring, and then, for some reason, somehow, Tommaso Ciampa puts Kevin Owens through the announce table. He gets back in the ring, tag made to Tommaso Ciampa, and then Tommaso Ciampa lands one last fairy tale ending to the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion Sami Zayn. 1, 2, 3. D.IY has become the new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, with Sami Zayn taking the pin. Both Owens and Zayn are laying on the floor while D.IY are celebrating. Once they leave, Owens starts to get back up and goes into the ring. He helps Sami up, raises his hand, looks at him menacingly, and beats him up. Owens yells at him and screams, "Useless, useless, useless." He lays him out and leaves the ring while the crowd is shocked. D.IY was right. That's how the match ended. Kevin Owens turned on Sami Zayn at the end. This isn't really a great storyline. It's just I really wanted to see like the actual wrestling match. It's like for this match, WrestleMania would be a good time for it, but now realizing it's not gonna happen anytime soon. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next one will be Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair in a normal match. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Alright, so as of recording, Bianca Belair is not on TV right now, but Charlotte Flair is, and she's feuding with Io Sky. With that being said, let's just go right towards the Royal Rumble. With the Royal Rumble, Charlotte Flair announces that she will be in the Royal Rumble, and she's got a really good number, but not number 30. So when Charlotte announces this, she's a heel. Okay, she's not a face like she is right now. So at this point, no one wants her to be in the title picture. She keeps getting pulled out the building. So right now, it's the Royal Rumble. It's late into the match. At number 25, Charlotte Flair comes out. The current people in the ring don't really matter right now, so Charlotte immediately makes her presence known by instantly eliminating 2 people from the match. And then at number 26, here comes Bianca Belair. She's back from her injury, and she immediately goes for Charlotte, and she's down. There's a new aggressive side of Bianca Belair, and she's still a face. But more ruthless than ever. She lays out Charlotte with the KOD and makes her statement known. Charlotte Flair gets eliminated by Bianca Belair. She looks at Charlotte, who's laying down outside the ring, and Bianca screams, "I want you." But then Bianca then continues in the Rumble match, and then she gets eliminated by Liv Morgan later on. So Charlotte Flair is still at ringside when Bianca gets eliminated, so 2 of them brawl their way backstage, and then that's the last we see of them at the Royal Rumble. The next week on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair confronts Adam Pearce because she felt like her opportunity at the Royal Rumble was stolen because of Bianca. Now Charlotte Flair is in the middle of making a deal with Adam Pearce, but Adam Pearce can't do anything about it because it doesn't make sense for Charlotte to just get handed a title opportunity. So while Adam Pearce and Charlotte were talking, Bianca Belair gets in the scene and Charlotte shifts her attention to Bianca. The two of them give each other a good stare before both of them leave. They don't say anything, and it's pretty clear that the agenda is clear. Charlotte, Bianca at Mania, we're gonna get this. But we still have the Elimination Chamber to get through. This year's Women's Elimination Chamber will be for the WWE Women's Championship, the one that Io Sky is holding right now. The next week on SmackDown, after the stare down that we had between Charlotte and Bianca, Charlotte sees the opportunity and she goes for it. Charlotte Flair talks her way into a free spot in the Elimination Chamber match. But Adam Pearce does not let that happen, and Adam Pearce says that Charlotte has to go through Mia Yim to qualify for the chamber, but she, obviously beats her, and she books herself a ticket to the chamber match. Bianca sees this opportunity. Bianca sees this backstage, and she asks Adam Pearce for an opportunity, and her qualifying match is against Zelina Vega, and Bianca Belair wins the match. After the match, Charlotte Flair confronts Bianca. So at this point, Bianca Belair is, down. She's hurt. She won the match against Zelina Vega, and now Charlotte Flair comes out of nowhere. She has a microphone in his hand and says, "Bianca, what's your problem?" And then Bianca Belair answers by saying, "SummerSlam. That's my problem. You and Io, that's the problem. And I never got back my title. So after I walk out of Elimination Chamber with my WWE Women's Championship, I'll be glad to have you as my first opponent." And then Charlotte responds by saying, "Don't get too twisted there. This isn't your story. See, you're not gonna win the chamber and give me a title opportunity. At the Elimination Chamber, I'm gonna pin 5 other people, become champion, and then after the match, I'll send you packing just like I did at SummerSlam. So get the hell out of my ring. Go celebrate the final few weeks you've got left, because this run ain't gonna last forever." Bianca Belair does not tolerate the amount of disrespect towards her, and she proceeds to land a KOD right into Charlotte Flair. Bianca then proceeds to leave the ring while Charlotte is laying down on the floor. So I'm not gonna really go over who qualifies for the chamber match. So I'm gonna go over who's in the women's chamber match. So it's Bianca, Charlotte, Chelsea Green, Nia Jax, and Raquel Rodriguez. Those are the 5 people who's fighting against Io Sky, who will defend her championship at the Elimination Chamber. So right now is the Elimination Chamber, and the 2 people who are starting out is Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. How ironic. These 2 go at it the second the bell rings. It's reversal after reversal after both women get their asses handed to them when Nia Jax comes out of the pod. Nia Jax knocks down both Flair and Belair. Chelsea Green is the 4th one to come out, and she tries to escape Nia, but that does not end. That does not last. After that, Charlotte Flair manages to do a spear on Nia Jax, but somehow she just got up. So Bianca sees this and she goes for a KOD on Nia Jax. She goes for the pin, but Charlotte Flair breaks it up and she goes for the pin by herself. But Bianca breaks the pin up, but Bianca breaks it up because she's the one that did damage to Nia Jax. She's the one that should deserve the pinfall. Both women really wanted to get the elimination, but I guess Nia Jax is unfortunately still in the match. While Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair are still distracted and they're arguing, Chelsea Green comes out to lay out Bianca. Charlotte seems to see this as an opportunity to work together, and she and Chelsea Green take care of Bianca. By then, Raquel gets in the match and she goes straight for Nia Jax. And then Charlotte Flair is able to eliminate Chelsea Green, and she is now out of the chamber match. So currently the people in the chamber match is only Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Nia Jax, and Raquel Rodriguez. So Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair get in each other's face, and Nia Jax takes advantage of the opportunity because of the distraction. The raw size and power was too much for Bianca and Charlotte Flair. So Nia Jax gets both Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair down after abusing the hell out of both of them. So she goes and pins Charlotte Flair and Bianca individually. So both Charlotte and Bianca are out. I do not want to see this happen in real life. I do not want Nia Jax to be pinning any one of these. But for the sake of the storyline, it's gonna happen. Io Sky comes out and then she eliminates Raquel Rodriguez. She eliminates Nia Jax. Nothing too important. So yeah, Io retains. So now in the next week on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair is pissed out of her mind. She's in the ring and she completely blames Bianca Belair for her performance at the Elimination Chamber. She starts out by saying, you know, if it wasn't for Bianca to get in my face the entire match, I would have became the new WWE Women's Champion for the 15th time. Wouldn't that be great? No, it really wouldn't. But you know, I just realized that I don't need a title to be relevant. I'm Charlotte Flair. I've been a Hall of Fame talent ever since the womb, and now Bianca comes out to the ring to confront Charlotte Flair. As she's walking down to the ring, she tells Charlotte, you know, if you want to bring up accomplishments and all that, let's do it. Guess who main evented WrestleMania on the first year of being on the main roster? Guess who held the longest women's title reign in the modern era? Now Charlotte stops Bianca Belair right there. She tells her, you know, anyone can accomplish everything that you did, but where's your legacy? Where's your empire? You have none. Nothing. No lineage. I'm part of the greatest wrestling family of all time. It's hard to top that. It really is. And then Bianca Belair stops Charlotte right there and says, alright, you know what? It must feel great to be trained by one of the greatest of all time, Ric Flair. I'll give you that. But something that's better is carving my own legacy. Day by day. I don't need a famous father, mother, uncle, or granddaddy to get my name famous. All I need is to show up, wrestle, and take names. That's all I do. I've been doing it since 2021 when I first got here. See, when I first returned at the Royal Rumble and went to give you an ass whooping, it was about payback for you injuring me at SummerSlam. But now, things are personal. Bianca drops the mic and then leaves. Next week, Charlotte Flair has a message for Bianca Belair in a backstage promo. She makes it clear that she wants a match official. Charlotte Flair vs Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Is that what you want? Is that what you really want? I know you've been wanting it for a long time. See, if I was me, I'd never want to face Charlotte Flair. But there's something wrong going on in your head, and it definitely ain't working. So you're mentally losing it. I'm not. You are. So at WrestleMania, under the brightest of the lights, inside the grandest stage, you're gonna realize how much of a star I really am, because you still haven't wrapped your head around this. Every week you come out to the ring confronting me like I'm some nobody, like I'm some pathetic wrestler from the indies. Like, bitch, I'm Charlotte Flair. I'm a money making machine, and if I need to beat you at WrestleMania for you to find out, fine. Have it your way. And that's how the promo ends. So this promo might have sounded nice from Charlotte Flair because she gave the match to Bianca, but she's really not. She's just, you know, being sarcastic and all that. So yeah, the cockiness of Charlotte Flair grows more and more, and it has been growing ever since the weeks have been going by. But with 4 weeks away from WrestleMania, the match is officially set. The next week on SmackDown, Bianca Belair reacts to this by going down to the ring. She starts off by saying that, early in my career, I actually did look up to Charlotte Flair. She inspired me, but never helped me to get to the next level. Which is weird because when people say, don't meet your heroes, it turns out to be always true. See, it will be an honor to lay you down on the canvas, just like I did to the 2 other horsewomen at WrestleMania. Oh, and one more thing, Charlotte. At WrestleMania, the EST will be 4-0. So have fun dealing with another loss at WrestleMania this year. Because let's be honest, ain't no one, and I mean no one, wants to see you win. I know how dirty you people play, and I'm highly aware of that. It ain't my first time stepping in the ring with you. It might not be the last, but at WrestleMania, you're gonna find out why every single person in this arena calls me the EST. Bianca Belair then leaves the ring. That's kind of a good promo, actually, not gonna lie. Next week in the backstage area, Charlotte goes after Bianca. So Bianca definitely got inside the head of Charlotte Flair, so that's why Charlotte is now attacking Bianca backstage. So they get into a big brawl. They try to tear each other apart, but the brawl is not breaking up. It's like fun and games is over. Like, so Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair get into a big brawl backstage. It goes on for a little bit up until Adam Pearce shows up. He brought his big ass balls, and then he manages to break Charlotte and Bianca up. And he sends them in the opposite direction. It's very clear that these women really don't want to talk anymore. They just want to fight. The next week on SmackDown is the day before the match. The go home show. So early on the SmackDown, Charlotte Flair gets interviewed and is asked, how you feeling about the match at WrestleMania? She goes off and straight up says, I'm Charlotte Flair. That's all you need to know. And then she leaves. Bianca Belair gets asked the same question later on in the night, and she gives a more clear answer. She says that Charlotte Flair has been someone that she's really wanted to get her hands on in a singles match for a really long time. This is finally the perfect opportunity to beat, pin, and prove Charlotte Flair why I'm retaining my winning streak at WrestleMania. So then after saying that, Bianca Belair walks off. So it's April 6th, the third match of the night. Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, the bell rings. Both of these women are hungry, doing powerful moves. Charlotte gets the first big attack of this match, but since Bianca is sort of like a female John Cena, she keeps getting up after all the punishment that Charlotte gives her. The entire match is back and forth. When one attacks, the other person follows up, which means that it's going to be a hard time trying to pin one another. So while Bianca Belair is laying down, Charlotte goes on top and lands a picture-perfect moonsault. She goes for the pin. 1, 2, no. Bianca Belair kicks out of the moonsault, and Charlotte is genuinely shocked. She lines up Bianca for a spear, but Bianca takes it like a champ. At this point, Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair have been fighting out for a good solid 15 minutes. They do put on an absolute clinic. It's basically like their match at SummerSlam, just minus EO, and they have a lot of spots, a lot of near falls. But at this point, Bianca Belair manages to finally land a KOD in the match. She knows that that's not enough to put down Charlotte Flair, so instead of pinning her, she goes on the top rope and lands a 450 on Charlotte Flair. Bianca Belair picks up Charlotte Flair. She doesn't go for the pin, but she goes for one more KOD, and that gets the job done. Bianca Belair defeats Charlotte Flair, and she retained her WrestleMania streak, going 4-0 4 years in a row. Oh my god, that rhymed. And well, that's how it ends. Charlotte losing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was, Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair. Nothing too crazy. It's a non-title match, so I don't really know what to do. So this is sort of a weird match. Brock Lesnar versus Sikoa as the 4th match of WrestleMania Night 1 for WrestleMania 40. I wanted both of these men to be on the card, so I tried to make a storyline that would make sense and it would connect things to other stories. So currently, Brock Lesnar is not wrestling right now. He wasn't at Crown Jewel. He's not going to be at Survivor Series. We don't know if he's going to be at the Rumble, but right now, he doesn't have a story going for him, and Solo Sikoa is still with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and I guess Jim Uso. Right now, we are currently on the SmackDown after the Elimination Chamber. Cody Rhodes has just won the Elimination Chamber match and he is on his way to face Roman Reigns. This is sort of important, but not really. So now Roman Reigns isn't at SmackDown this week, but Cody is. Cody Rhodes is in the ring, and before he can get words out, Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman interrupts Cody Rhodes. Now the Cody part isn't too important, as I said, so I'll go over it quickly. So Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman aren't too pleased with this year's Elimination Chamber winner, since Roman already beat him last year at WrestleMania. So at this point, Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa corner Cody Rhodes, but then Cody responds by saying, hold on, before you two enforce an attack on me, did you really think I came here alone? Cody Rhodes points at the entrance ramp, and Brock Lesnar theme song. Here comes Cowboy Brock Lesnar. He's looking a little extra jolly tonight for some reason. He makes his way down to the ring. He does his circle around the ring. He gives Cody a big old nice firm handshake, and this time it's for real. He's not gonna F5 him or anything. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar are actually friends now. So like at this point you already know Paul Heyman is seeing a ghost because Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are in the same ring together. Brock Lesnar is now standing right next to Cody Rhodes. Solo Sikoa doesn't really know what to do since this is the first time where he's like all alone in the arena. Jimmy's not there. Uso's not there, Owens not there. He only has Paul, but there's nothing much that Paul can do, so he's kinda alone. So now Solo Sikoa decides to, for some reason, attack Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. He manages to take down Cody, but Brock Lesnar gives Solo Sikoa an F5. Ooh, he trying to start something. So, and then after that, Brock Lesnar picks up Cody Rhodes, and you know, Solo is now left laying on the floor while Paul Heyman is trying to call Roman Reigns. So basically, Brock Lesnar just started a fight with Solo Sikoa while also building up Roman vs Cody Rhodes, I guess maybe. So Solo is left laying. So last week we know Brock Lesnar returned on SmackDown. So next week he is back in SmackDown. So Brock Lesnar is right now in the ring. He has a microphone, he's ready to cut a promo. But ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. On behalf of my client Solo Sikoa, it appears to be that once again my former client Brock Lesnar has picked a fight with the bloodline once again. Now I'm sure that this ain't the first time, but let me tell you one thing. Solo Sikoa is the baddest son of a gun behind that locker room. Size and strength doesn't matter to that man. And while Paul Heyman is rambling about Solo Sikoa being the best, at this point Brock Lesnar doesn't want to hear Paul Heyman's, crap. So Brock Lesnar just runs out the ring. He chases Paul Heyman, gives him an F5 immediately. So, cause why not? I mean, why not? Like, what's the worst that could happen? So Brock Lesnar now grabs the mic. So while Paul Heyman is laying on the floor and Brock Lesnar still has the microphone, he tells Paul Heyman that, "Tell your boy Solo that I've got my sights set." And then Brock Lesnar goes backstage, and that's how the segment ends. So this is how the match would be set up. So I really want to limit the appearance of Roman Reigns in this storyline because I don't want to spoil too much from what's going to happen later with Roman, Cody, maybe The Rock. So yeah, anyways, we're 4 weeks away from WrestleMania. Now the SmackDown after Brock Lesnar attacked Paul Heyman. Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman come down to the ring together this time. Now Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa are standing side by side. Paul Heyman is smiling, knowing Brock Lesnar is not backstage at the arena because someone told him that, he's in Saskatchewan or whatever, or he's not in the building at least. So Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa are standing in the middle of the ring, just like how Paul and Brock used to do back in the day. Paul starts off by calling out Brock Lesnar, knowing damn well he ain't gonna confront them. He says, "Brock Lesnar, if you really have your sights set on the baddest Samoan in the world, you wouldn't mind bringing that farmer ass into the ring right here tonight in the middle of this ring to go face to face with Solo. Because see, last week I've made a mistake confronting you alone. See, this time," and then Paul Heyman gets cut off by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is on the Titantron. He's in Saskatchewan. He's on his farm. He's with his cows. So now Brock Lesnar has a live video message for Paul Heyman. He's sitting down, he's having a good time. He reminds himself that the week prior to today, he gave Paul Heyman a beautiful F5. He tells Paul that I really wish that I could see you in person. That would be so great, real great. But unlike you running around with your little bodyguard, I've got things to do. But tell you what, Paul Heyman, I'll see you live next week on Friday Night SmackDown. The Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, will be in the ring ready to go face to face with Solo Sikoa." And then Brock's video message ends. Nothing too special, it just sets up a face-to-face for next week. At this point, Solo Sikoa has a frustrated look on his face, and he plans to beat Brock Lesnar up next week. Now the next SmackDown arrives, And Brock Lesnar actually kicks off the show with Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes talks about Roman stuff, you know, I'm not gonna go over that too much. And Brock talks about Solo. He says that Solo isn't beat. He hasn't gotten beat up. He hasn't gotten humbled. He hasn't got into a proper fight. And especially that Solo is not a real fighter. He's not no street champ. He's not a street fighter. He's not any of that. What Solo is a nobody, a walk behinder, someone who is a follower. He doesn't take action into his own hands. He hides behind Roman. He does nothing on his own. And now it doesn't take too long for Solo Sikoa to be upset and march down to the ring with Paul Heyman. So once again, Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar are in the ring, and Solo Sikoa is launching one-on-two attack. So while Solo Sikoa is making his way down to the ring, Paul Heyman is in his corner looking scared. He tells Solo that we shouldn't be out here. We shouldn't be doing this. There's two of them. There's one of us. Like it's 100% chance they're gonna get hurt. But Solo doesn't care. He basically just does whatever he wants to now. Solo doesn't listen. He stares down Brock Lesnar when he gets in the ring and tries to get a revenge. Solo Sikoa goes for an attack, but it just doesn't work. He's not calculating his attacks. He's not making sure that everything that he does works. He doesn't know how to do this because he's always been under the leadership of Roman Reigns. So whenever he's out alone in the ring, his brain just fumbles. He doesn't know how to react. So Solo Sikoa tried to go for a Samoan spike, but it gets reversed by Brock Lesnar. Now Cody Rhodes takes Solo out, and while Solo is down, Cody has a detailed message for Roman Reigns. Then Brock Lesnar kneels down to Solo's face and says, "I'll meet you at WrestleMania." Brock Lesnar drops the mic on Solo's chest, and then both Brock and Cody leave. Now Brock Lesnar has left the ring, announcing that he will go one-on-one with Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania. The match is now made official. Brock Lesnar vs Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania Night 1. Paul Heyman tries to get Solo back up on his feet, then the look on Solo's face says it all. He wants to beat the living shit out of Brock Lesnar. And the next week on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman come back down to the ring to verbally assault Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman gets the mic and he starts cooking Brock Lesnar. See, Paul Heyman states that I might have not told you this, or I have, who knows, but why I left you for the bloodline is because you're washed up. You're a part-timer. Those are the only two reasons that I need. The only reason why you got a tiny little bit of success is not because you're a genetic freak, not because you're a UFC guy, not because you have an amateur wrestling background. It's because you were managed by the one and only Paul Heyman. And I know damn well you know that. It takes a lot of balls to admit that. You would assume without advocating for Brock Lesnar, I have nothing to do wrong. Because I have Solo Sikoa. I am advocating for Solo Sikoa week in and week out. This is the future of the industry. This is the guy that will slay the Beast Incarnate at WrestleMania. This is the guy that will beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And this is damn well the guy that will retire Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So if you think it's going to be another easy WrestleMania payday for you, you better goddamn pray to whatever you worship. Because at WrestleMania, April 6th, Night 1, your time is up. And it's time to hang up them boots. Because after you get your ass whooped by Solo Sikoa, let me tell you this, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Paul Heyman drops the mic after cooking Brock Lesnar. So then Paul Heyman and Solo try to leave the ring, but then they get interrupted by Brock Lesnar. His music starts playing, and then Paul Heyman, he sees a ghost. And Solo Sikoa and Brock Lesnar, they go face to face. They're both in the ring. They stare at each other. Solo then tries to strike Brock Lesnar. Then Solo Sikoa then strikes at Brock Lesnar. He takes him down, and he catches Brock off guard. Paul Heyman is genuinely shocked that Solo managed to get Brock Lesnar on his knees. But then Brock Lesnar takes Solo Sikoa ringside and he puts Solo Sikoa through the announce table. F5 right onto the announce table, and Paul Heyman is genuinely shocked. Brock Lesnar then looks at Paul Heyman. He tries to run at him because he's next. So then Paul Heyman just goes zooming out. He tries to run away and all of that. So then while Solo Sikoa is laying on the floor on the broken announce table, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are backstage. So yeah, that's how this segment ends. Brock Lesnar trying to, I guess assault Paul Heyman due to miscommunication, due to him not knowing what to do. So you guys can probably see what type of story that I'm building here if you guys understand. It's definitely going to be building more and more as we go on. For the next week, it's announced that Brock Lesnar has some things to tell to the audience. He starts off by saying that, I see Paulie hyping up Solo every single week, but I keep beating his ass. I mean, the kid never learns. That's why he still needs to go one-on-one with the Beast Incarnate. Because that's when you find out if you're ready. That's when you find out if you are a main event talent. You need to learn how to win and protect yourself. Look at me. By doing those things, I've made myself a living legend. And if Solo Sikoa can beat me under the brightest lights, maybe, just maybe, I'll gain his respect. But as of right now, hiding behind a man who's worthless really pains me. Someone with that amount of potential shouldn't even be guided by a man like Roman Reigns. Because I know you're way better than this. I know, I see it. I see it. But as of right now, there's nothing more I want to do than to leave you hanging. And after saying all that, Brock Lesnar calls Solo Sikoa out to the ring. And he comes out by himself. No Paul Heyman, no Roman, no, he's just by himself. But then Paul Heyman comes in from behind while Solo is making his entrance. But then Solo Sikoa demands Paul Heyman to go backstage. He wants to handle this on his own. So then Paul Heyman is kind of skeptical, but he follows Solo's orders. So Solo Sikoa and Brock Lesnar are now face to face once again. Brock Lesnar tells Solo that, I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to warn you. I'm here to tell you what you're going to have to deal with at WrestleMania. It takes a brave man to confront and go after a beast, and I respect that. So I'll give you your big moment. At WrestleMania, I want you to bring it. Brock Lesnar leaves the ring. But so Solo doesn't know how to respond. So after Brock Lesnar leaves, Solo is in the ring. He's thinking to himself what do I do? I mean, it's almost like Solo Sikoa got humbled by Brock Lesnar. But believe it or not, there's one more week until WrestleMania, and I ain't booking that. So this promo happened second to last week before WrestleMania. So at this point, Solo Sikoa is there's something I need to do, but I don't know if I have the guts to do it. So we're gonna find that out at WrestleMania. So it's April 6th, it's WrestleMania, the 4th match of the night. Brock Lesnar makes his way into the ring. Obviously, it's light work for him. It's not his first time. He gets a big crowd reaction and all that. When it's time for Solo Sikoa to get in the ring, Paul Heyman introduces Solo. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And on this special occasion, I have the honor and privilege to introduce to you the baddest of them all, the Samoan street champ, the enforcer himself, the man that will slay the beast incarnate, Solo Sikoa." And then Solo Sikoa comes out to a star-making entrance to the ring. Brock Lesnar and Solo Sikoa go face to face one last time before the bell rings. And then the bell rings. These two give everything that they have. Solo is trying his best to keep up with Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar tries to catch Solo off guard by hitting a F5 early in the match. Solo manages to reverse it. And then after that, Solo Sikoa manages to do a Samoan drop on Brock Lesnar somehow. Now that stops all the momentum that Brock had. And now eventually Brock got up and he kept punishing Solo, and he punishes him until he would fight back. But then Brock Lesnar got up and he kept punishing and punishing Solo Sikoa. Now Brock Lesnar wouldn't pin him, but he would just keep destroying him, trying to humble him, trying to get him to do the right thing. Now late into the match, Solo Sikoa finally gets up and manages to land the Samoan spike on Brock Lesnar. At this point, it's been like around 15 minutes into the match. Now, after doing the spike, Solo has an option. Does he pin Brock or does he hit one more spike? So late into the match, Solo Sikoa finally manages to land a Samoan spike on Brock Lesnar. Then he's knocked down. Now Solo Sikoa drags Brock Lesnar and he goes to the top to do a splash on Brock Lesnar. Now he knows that no one has ever kicked out of the Samoan spike, but Solo has an option. Does he pin Brock Lesnar or does he do it one more time? He picks Brock Lesnar up one last time, but then he picks him up and he hits another spike, and then he picks him up and then he does a triple Samoan spike, and then Sikoa pins Brock Lesnar clean. Solo Sikoa becomes the 8th man in Brock Lesnar's career to ever pin him clean. He done made history. Paul Heyman comes in the ring to celebrate with Solo, but then Brock gets up after the match. He's hurt. All of these Samoan spikes, they were quick. They did a lot of damage to the chest of Brock Lesnar. Brock reaches his hand out to Solo, and no fucking way. Just like he did to Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam of last year, Brock Lesnar wants Solo Sikoa's respect. And now Solo is not even hesitant. As soon as he sees Brock's hand, he shakes it with him. He takes it as a stamp of approval. So now Solo Sikoa shook hands with Brock Lesnar, and then Brock Lesnar raises Solo Sikoa's hand up. It would be insane if this would actually happen. So at the end, Brock Lesnar has made peace with Solo Sikoa, and Solo Sikoa has made peace with Brock Lesnar. There were a lot of elements in this story that I didn't touch on, and they were like revised and stuff mainly I didn't want to touch because it was very much related to the Roman vs. Cody video, and I don't want to be spoiled because I'm trying to make it like really good. Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 matches on the WrestleMania Night 1 card, CM Punk has found himself at WrestleMania. It was only a matter of time, so let's begin booking this match. So currently, as of recording, it's mid-October and CM Punk's return is heavily rumored for Survivor Series, and I do think that is a good place to bring him back, especially since it's in Chicago. So the night of Survivor Series, after Roman Reigns defeats Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns celebrates and he leaves the ring. So CM Punk has not made his debut yet. It's the end of the show, it's the end of the match, and the fans are still waiting. The pay-per-view is about to end. The screen goes black, the copyright logo shows up, and the screen is basically black around 5 to 10 seconds. The fans are still there, people are still watching. They're still eager to see if CM Punk is gonna return or not. So at this point, the fans, they get upset because CM Punk has not returned. But after like around 30 seconds of a black screen, CM Punk's theme plays. Punk, he's back. He's back at Survivor Series. He's been trolling the audience for months. He's been trolling for weeks. He's been trolling for a whole lot of time, and it finally happened. But when Punk comes out, he doesn't look too happy. He doesn't like interact with the fans or whatever. He walks down to the ring. He grabs a microphone, and his first words after 9 years out of WWE is, "You don't deserve me." And that's all he says. And then CM Punk walks out. And yes, he is a heel in this video, so you guys were wondering. So next week on Raw after Survivor Series, CM Punk shows up and he opens up the show. He makes his entrance looking disgusted at the audience. He sits down crisscross applesauce style with a microphone in his hand by the entrance ramp, just like 2011. So CM Punk starts off with his return promo with, "Is this on?" Oh, how surprising. Just in case they decide to shut it off, I bought a few of my own. Anyways, I think you know who I am and everything that I stand for. But the only reason why I came back is to fill up my pockets. I figured coming here they would treat me just like they did with Jade Cargill or Cody Rhodes. But you know, I just had to talk backstage with old Trips. And I don't think I'm going to be winning the Undisputed WWE Championship anytime soon. Or even the World Heavyweight. So, which, you know, it would look real good on me. Oh, and by the way, Seth and Roman, they're dodging some pretty pretty heavy bullets. But you know, when I first got out here, when I was backstage talking to the higher ups, if I would say, they told me not to be like CM Punk. They said to me that don't do what you did 12 years ago. See, the thing is, I'm sitting down. I have a few microphones. They all work as of right now, and we are live. I got some things to get off my chest. Everything that I said back in 2011 came true. The company is better because Vince McMahon's power to wield this company is dead, and his son-in-law Paulie is now running the show, unfortunately. Which, don't get me wrong, I ain't gonna forget the long talk we had backstage, but let me get something straight. The same people who come out of their seat cheering me is the same reason why I left this company and why I never wanted to come back. Because the same ones sipping on those cups are the same ones who buy these programs that my face isn't the cover of. And that ain't sour grapes, that's a fact of life. Yeah. But you don't have to worry because just in a matter of time, CM Punk will be the poster boy of this company. And you know, as I see all of you enjoying what WWE is today makes me sick. This is the same company that had your Lord and Savior Vincent Kennedy getting his noodle wet and spending millions upon millions of dollars to keep his little scandal under lockdown. This is the same company that released around 300 WWE superstars just because they can. This is also the same company who has a part-time champion. But hell, this is the same goddamn company that scams all of you for your money every single dollar that you have every goddamn week. This is the same goddamn company that ghosted CM Punk. See, I am going to keep going on and on about this what? Oh. Okay, at this point, CM Punk's mic gets cut off, and he starts to realize that, oh, he has another one. Well, to be honest, and the second mic also gets cut off. He barely even got like 3 words in and it already got cut off. So that's kind of weird. Now CM Punk is frustrated and he storms into Gorilla and the camera follows. CM Punk gets in Triple H's face while he's wearing the headset. Triple H gets up and tells Punk, look, we gave you a chance and you took advantage of it. Who knows what else you could have said. We can't let you go out there and ruin our reputation like you did. I know what you can do with that microphone. Don't let me regret signing you, because I've got a lot more power now than before. CM Punk yells back to Triple H saying that the reputation of this company has been ruined and established in the summer of 2011 thanks to me. And then CM Punk goes home. Survivor Series all the way to Elimination Chamber. CM Punk doesn't wrestle just to build up his heel persona even more and more. It could be bad for WWE, but it's just gonna keep the fans more mad and mad. So all he does from Survivor Series all the way up into the Elimination Chamber is just talk shit about the company, talk shit about the audience and everything. So right now we're after the Elimination Chamber. It's we're over a month away from WrestleMania. Adam Pearce and CM Punk finally meet backstage on Raw after the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Adam Pearce is mad at CM Punk because he signed him on Raw and then he hasn't really wrestled. It's been almost 4 months and the man has not wrestled. So now Adam Pearce tells CM Punk that this is a wrestling company now. It's literally in the name. CM Punk cuts off Adam Pearce and he tells Adam that, see, the last time I checked, this was a sports entertainment company. A company that entertains. So I'll tell you what, if you can find someone who can even dare step in the ring with me, fine. I'll face whoever the hell you can find. So then the next week, CM Punk goes to Adam Pearce and asks him if he found someone. Now Adam Pearce says no, so he hasn't found an opponent for CM Punk. But Pearce says to Punk that everyone that I've asked turned down the offer because they don't want to ever be in the same locker room. Hell, they don't even want to be in the same ring as you. So CM Punk gets frustrated and then he goes to the ring to cut a promo. He starts off by saying, so this is how we're gonna play, huh? No one's gonna have the balls to face CM Punk. What do you think I am, a disgrace to the locker room? A fucking cancer? At this point, I should be familiar with people calling me all that stuff because I still haven't ran into the likes of Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion. See, it could be a shame to make Seth Rollins versus Gunther a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now CM Punk smiles. He has a great idea in his head. Calls out Seth Rollins, doesn't answer. Keeps doing it again and again, and we actually see Seth Rollins confront CM Punk. Both Punk and Rollins go face to face. Now CM Punk tells Seth that, don't get me wrong, I ain't here to say I'm sorry, but I'm here to take that world title away from you. And you know, Seth, I have a proposal for you. Seth Rollins, Gunther, CM Punk, triple threat at Mania. How does that sound, buddy? Now Seth finally talks and he says that, well, if that ain't sour grapes, I don't know what is. First of all, you come on my show, run your mouth for 4 months, and now you got the nerve to demand a title shot from me? Who the hell do you think you're talking to? And now at this point, Triple H is summoned from Gorilla, and he makes his way to the ring. Tells Seth Rollins to leave the ring and go off backstage. Now with CM Punk and Triple H the only ones in the ring, Triple H starts by saying that, look, see, I know we don't really get along a lot, but for the sake of this business, for the sake of this industry, I've got an offer for you. See, I know WrestleMania is slowly approaching, and that you don't really have a match. So tell you what, at WrestleMania, it's going to be CM Punk versus an opponent of my choosing at WrestleMania. When CM Punk finds out this information, he knows exactly what Triple H is doing. He puts 2 and 2 together, and then he says to Triple H that, oh, okay, so you're doing the same thing that you did to Seth Rollins on me. Alright. So if that's the case, I know exactly who my opponent is, and he's certainly not anywhere behind that locker room. So you know what? I accept. Triple H and CM Punk, they both shake hands and then they walk away. The next week on Raw, CM Punk is not there. Obviously, you know, he's not going to be on every show or whatever. But the next week after that, he's back. He's back in the ring, and he starts out by saying, so apparently Mr. Revesk has made the match official. CM Punk versus a man that's not ready to face CM Punk. CM Punk versus an irrelevant nobody. I think whoever will meet me on the other side of that ring has no idea who's waiting for him at the other side. Because let me tell you what, CM Punk is ready to... and now CM Punk gets interrupted by Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce now tells CM Punk says that this match against a mystery opponent is not a singles match. It's not a normal match. But it has a very unique stipulation to it. Adam Pearce doesn't specify what stipulation that is, but we're gonna find out at WrestleMania. Now the next week, CM Punk is actually forced to cut a promo backstage hyping up his match at WrestleMania. So Punk says whoever's gonna be my opponent at WrestleMania seems to have some pretty big balls. See, I know exactly who he is, and it takes some pretty big balls for him to request a special match type. So let me name a few names. Could it be Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, Respect? Probably not. Could it be The Miz? Hell, I would definitely mark out if it was Shane McMahon or HBK. Like wouldn't that be funny? See, the thing is, CM Punk is a man who don't give a shit. I never did an AEW. I never did an ECW. I never did anywhere. Everything I did wasn't to entertain the masses. I did it to get my money and exposure up because that's all that matters to someone like me. As I said when I came back, the same people who cheer me is the same reason why I left, and I wouldn't be afraid to do it again. At WrestleMania, I'm gonna slaughter whoever it is. And then Punk drops the mic and leaves. It's WrestleMania Night 1, the 6th match on the card. Cult of Personality hits, and everyone is waiting. Triple H comes out, and he says that the stipulation of this match will be a dog collar match. CM Punk is starstruck. While he's starstruck, MJF's music is playing. Maxwell Jacob Friedman is in WWE. The crowd can't believe it. The hottest free agent in pro wrestling has been signed by WWE. And now CM Punk can't believe it. MJF does his big entrance, debuting as a babyface, really taking in the moment, also while daring a hold down CM Punk. Both wrestlers put on the dog collar and the match is started. They both stare at each other. CM Punk says to MJF, you have no business being here. And then MJF says, neither do you. And then throws the first punch in. Here we go. Both men all over the ring and out, pulling each other, bashing each other in their head. It's a bloody encounter between both men. Both men are battered, bashed up. They've thrown all the punishment they can to each other. MJF gets mostly cheered in this match because he's the guy returning. He does all the big moves against CM Punk. Later in the match, MJF uses his ring on his finger to knock out CM Punk cold on the canvas and then pins him. MJF wins. He gets the 1, 2, 3. MJF finally got revenge on CM Punk in a dog collar match in which he lost. at AEW Revolution 2022. MJF now celebrates with the crowd and he's now a part of WWE on the Raw brand. So after this video, we still have 3 more videos for night 1 and we move on to night 2. So next video is going to be a big beefy video, the War Games match. I'm very excited to do that video. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Judgment Day vs LWO War Games. Brand vs. brand, Raw vs. SmackDown, the whole shebang at WrestleMania. I wasn't originally going to do this since I was halfway into writing the script of Rey Mysterio vs. Dominik Mysterio and Damian Priest and Balor vs. Carlito and Santos Escobar, but midway through I figured out that we have general managers now, which means that they can legit utilize brand vs. brand tactics, and I think a good place to do it, if they're not going to do it at Survivor Series, just do it at WrestleMania. So now the War Games match will be Finn Balor, Damian Priest, JD McDonald's, and Dominik Mysterio versus Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Carlito. And yes, I am still doing Dominik vs. Rey, hair vs. mask on night 1. And then the War Games match will be on night 2, so it'll be really cool. And yeah, Dominik is working double duty, so yeah. But the most important thing about the Rey vs. Dom match is that this will be Rey Mysterio's last match in WWE, because honestly I think it is the perfect time for Rey to retire. Honestly I do think this is a perfect time because you're facing your son. It's a perfect time to just retire for a perfect opponent. Like it can't get more perfect than that. Alright, so as of recording, Cody Rhodes is set to face Damian Priest at Crown Jewel, and maybe we'll get Judgment Day versus a team full of baby faces at Survivor Series. So let's start after Survivor Series. JD McDonald's is officially in the Judgment Day. He gets accepted by Damian Priest. He gets accepted by Rhea Ripley. Gets accepted by Dominik Mysterio, and obviously, Finn Balor. So this time, the Judgment Day is the strongest they've ever been, and they've run all of WWE. They do all their antics all the way up until the Royal Rumble, and that's when this feud actually begins. So as of recording, Rey Mysterio is still the US champion as of Crown Jewel, and that's the problem. So at Crown Jewel, I'd actually have Logan win and take the title from him. And also, Dominik is still the North American champion, so I think Dominik Mysterio should lose his North American Championship somewhere around early January, right before the Royal Rumble. Now at the Royal Rumble, Dominik Mysterio comes out at number 18, just like he did last year. If you guys remember last year, Rey Mysterio was supposed to come out at number 17, but he didn't. It was because Dominik Mysterio attacked Rey Mysterio backstage, and he ripped his mask right off of Rey Mysterio. And now at number 19, Rey Mysterio comes out. He has a stare down with his son, and Dom sees the perfect opportunity to start bashing his father for beating him at WrestleMania of last year. But Rey is not taking any bullshit whatsoever, so he throws Dominik straight out the ring and he eliminates him. Now this made Dominik really furious with Rey, so after the Royal Rumble on Monday Night Raw, Dominik goes to Adam Pearce and he lets him know that he wants to go to SmackDown later on in the week. Now Adam Pearce warns Dominik that if he goes there, he's gonna get escorted out by Nick Aldis. But Adam Pearce also tells Dominik that SmackDown isn't my responsibility. However, according to the ratings, SmackDown has been beating us. So you know what? Both of us, you and me, will head on over to SmackDown to pay Nick Aldis a little visit. And now Dominik is satisfied with his answer that Pearce gave. And now fast forwarding all the way to Friday Night SmackDown, Adam Pearce and Dominik both arrived together on SmackDown. They managed to get in the backstage area. Adam Pearce runs into Nick Aldis, and Nick is mad. He's like, why you here? But Adam Pearce says that, look, I wanted to talk. I realized for the past few weeks SmackDown has been doing way better than Raw, and I can't stand that. It means that I'm not doing my job. I just want to let you know that it's Mania season, and whatever tricks you got up your sleeve ain't gonna work with me. Aldis then says that you're really accusing me for doing my job. Just because you don't know how to book your show doesn't mean you get to come down here and tell me to back off. I'm the #1 general manager of the #1 flagship show in all of professional wrestling. If you want to start shit, then let the war begin. Now I got a show to run, so get the hell off my property. Now Nick Aldis leaves, and then Adam Pearce is still at the arena. But now the beef between Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis is getting real. So later that night, the entire LWO is out in the ring cutting a promo. Rey Mysterio starts out by saying that I don't got a lot of years left, but you know what I do have? D.IY has came out to confront Rey Mysterio. He interrupts him. He tries to come down to the ring and confront Rey Mysterio. He locks eyes with him, and then he grabs the microphone, and then Dominik says, "See, it's almost been a year since I got my ass beat by the deadbeat. Ever since then, I haven't got my hands on you. And see, at the Royal Rumble, I tried to win. I tried to main event WrestleMania, but someone looking like you had to ruin my opportunity. See, getting eliminated by you sparked something that hasn't been lit in a very, very long time. Last year, I should have gotten the job done. Now, I can't relight the past, but I can damn well create the future. So, Mysterio, I came here to challenge you to a rematch at WrestleMania. And not just any match. I want to embarrass you. I want to end your career. I want to rip that mask off your bald little head and see if I win at WrestleMania, I get to rip that mask off your head." Dominik reaches his hand out to Rey, and now Dominik wants Rey to accept this match. But Rey Mysterio speaks and he says that, "Now I know damn well you don't want to challenge someone like Rey Mysterio to a match when I know and you know that I could beat you. I already did fair in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania, and you know if I did it once, I can damn well do it over and over again. But see, that's not the problem. The problem is all the disrespect you have towards me. That makes me sick. Sir, if you come out here telling me that you want to rip my mask open, it really shows me that you don't give any remorse to Lucha Libre. I've worn this thing throughout the entirety of my career." And then Dom cuts Rey off and says, "I don't give a damn about your stupid little mask. It means absolutely nothing to me. So either you accept my match or else next week I get the entirety of Judgment Day on your ass. Just be lucky that mommy isn't here." Now Rey doesn't want all that to happen because he knows what Judgment Day do. So see, this is when Rey Mysterio makes Dominik an offer. He says, "Alright Dom, alright, I see you're threatening me. So you know what? Me putting something on the line isn't really fair. So let me tell you this. When I win at WrestleMania, I get to shave off all your hair. And if I lose somehow, you get to take the mask off." And now Dominik accepts right away. He tells Mysterio, "Yeah, whatever it takes for me to embarrass your ass and to remove that mask, unveiling how much of a deadbeat father you truly are, you've got yourself a deal." And now everyone is surprised because the match has been made official. Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio, hair versus mask. And now Dominik tries to blindside Rey Mysterio. He tries to go for an attack, but the entirety of LWO are in the ring. So they all start beating down Dominik Mysterio and they send him packing. And now while Dominik is trying to go backstage, he runs into Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis just found out that Dominik is on his show, and he tells Dom, "What in the hell are you doing on my show?" Oh, and he says that, "Oh, Adam said it's okay." So now Aldis is pissed off because, you know, now he tries to find Adam Pearce. Now later on in the night, we see Nick Aldis call Adam Pearce and says, "We need to talk," with a grudge-filled look on his face. So the next Raw, we get the entire Judgment Day in the ring. They are congratulating Dominik for getting the opportunity to beat up his dad once again at WrestleMania. Now Balor says that, "Look, we've still got some time up until WrestleMania, so I want to call out any one of you from LWO. It don't matter whoever it is, as long as I get a fight at the Elimination Chamber." But then Nick Aldis is on Raw for some reason. He cuts off Finn Balor and he makes his way to the ring. He says that no Raw superstar is wrestling a SmackDown superstar. But then Aldis gets cut off by Pearce, and now he and Nick Aldis are looking at each other. Pearce and Aldis have a little argument by the entrance ramp while the Judgment Day are in the ring. Pearce states that Aldis should be nowhere near Monday Night Raw, and he's trying to figure out how he got here. But then Aldis responds by saying, "Where do you think you and Dominik were last Friday, terrorizing my show, showing up on my show, showing up on Friday Night SmackDown?" Now, I don't know if you got my call or not, but this can't be happening. See, since you pulled the trigger first by invading my show, I assume you're pissed off about something, huh? Is it the ratings? Is it because I'm better than you and you know it. See, I know you're mad. Yeah, I know you can't be mad that I'm getting a lot more viewers on the #1 flagship show, Friday Night SmackDown. Now, with that being said, I don't ever want to see any of the Judgment Day or any Raw superstar on my show ever again. You understand me? And then Aldis storms off backstage and he heads on home. Now, after hearing all that from Aldis, Adam Pearce seems to be more frustrated than ever towards Nick Aldis. He then goes backstage, and then meanwhile, Judgment Day are still in the ring. Now, after hearing everything that Nick Aldis had said, they seem to have something in mind, and then they don't really say much, they just leave the ring now. So later on Raw, we see a backstage segment with the entirety of Judgment Day discussing something with Adam Pearce. What could this be? What could they be discussing? Anywho, later in the week on SmackDown, Judgment Day beat up Rey Mysterio on SmackDown. Yeah, Adam Pearce and Judgment Day were talking about invading SmackDown. That's what they were discussing. So when LWO came in for the save, Judgment Day were long gone from the scene. Carlito then tries to help Rey Mysterio get up, and he has a furious look on his face. Carlito storms out to the ring with the microphone and he calls out the Judgment Day. He screams, "Judgment Day, I know you're back there somewhere. I've heard what Balor had to say on Raw. So if you're looking for a challenge, I'll go one-on-one with you at the Elimination Chamber." Now at this point, Judgment Day make their way to the ring and they get stopped by security. Nick Aldis and his goons come out to stop Judgment Day from being in the ring on SmackDown. Now Adam Pearce also comes out on the behalf of Judgment Day. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis now go back and forth. Nick Aldis says, "Last week you brought one of them, and I decided to trash my entire show." Now Adam Pearce responds by saying, "Look, things have gotten personal, and it's about damn time I do something about it. So if you can manage to calm yourself down, I've got a proposal for you. Judgment Day can come to SmackDown, and LWO can come to Raw up until WrestleMania." Nick Aldis says that's the most stupidest thing I've ever... Wait a minute. You know what? LWO will be on Raw next week. And then Nick Aldis goes backstage. So Nick Aldis accepts Adam Pearce's little proposal. So now LWO and Judgment Day can jump from brand to brand whenever they want, up until WrestleMania. Now after Nick Aldis goes backstage, Adam Pearce orders the Judgment Day to attack Carlito. And then later on in the night, Adam Pearce also commands Judgment Day to attack all of LWO. If you see them lurking around backstage, you attack them. So basically, Adam Pearce is in his villain arc right now. He's demanding mayhem. So when Judgment Day and LWO are getting into a brawl, Rey Mysterio is still down at this time. He's not helping, he's hurt. But the brawl ends with Judgment Day and Adam Pearce standing tall. The entire LWO is laid down and they are hurt. And the games have begun. All the chaos leading up to WrestleMania has begun. Nick Aldis is pissed off backstage, but he has a plan. He said the LWO will be on Monday Night Raw the next week. And that's exactly what happens. The next Monday Night Raw, Nick Aldis kicks off the show inside the ring. Adam Pearce then confronts him and have a one-to-one promo. Now Adam Pearce says to Nick Aldis that, "Okay, so this is what you want to do now. You want to start off my show screaming blue? Oh, hell no. See, just to let you know, I've been enjoying all of this. The top faction of Monday Night Raw, the Judgment Day, dominating your LWO on SmackDown and Raw. It just brings joy to my life." And man, I think I saw LWO lurking backstage trying to hurt my innocent Raw superstars. Now Aldis replies by saying, "Oh, what do you mean innocent? Judgment Day is a disgrace to Raw. Hell, a disgrace to the entirety of professional wrestling. If you want to do this every week, then LWO will glad to make Monday Night Raw a living hell." Nick Aldis then leaves. The feud between Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis has been getting more personal and more personal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Brand Warfare is back. Later on that week on SmackDown, we get a match announced. JD McDonald's vs. Cruz del Toro. The first of many LWO vs. Judgment Day matches. So LWO and Judgment Day are both in the corner of JD McDonald's and Cruz del Toro. It's an average match, both men showing why they need to be given more opportunities. Because Cruz del Toro is a phenomenal wrestler and so is JD. I mean, both of them were wild in NXT. They both put on a clinic, but I want this match to be clean. So JD actually manages to get the win. The rest of Judgment Day celebrate in the ring, and then LWO gets in the ring. All have a stare down but they don't brawl. They all just stare at each other, they look at each other menacingly, and then LWO leaves the ring. They need to get back on track because they've been getting beat down, they've been losing matches, they're letting the Raw superstars invade SmackDown, and they're letting them win matches. That's just not good. That's not good for Nick Aldis, that's not good for LWO, that's not good for SmackDown. So the next week on Raw, LWO are backstage. Rey Mysterio finds Adam Pearce and he asks him for a match. Santos Escobar versus Damian Priest. So now Damian Priest accepts and the match is made official. Later on the night, Damian Priest versus Santos Escobar will happen. So before the main event of Damian Priest and Santos Escobar, Judgment Day and LWO don't encounter all night. So it's time for the main event. Damian Priest comes out alone. I also forgot to tell you guys that Damian Priest is still Mr. Money in the Bank, but it's not too important right now. Maybe later, who knows. Wait, Santos is out in the ring. So Santos is in the ring. He has Cruz del Toro and Hulkling Wild in his corner. So yeah, he has some backup. The match starts as normal with no shenanigans, but Damian Priest dominates for most of this match. But Santos Escobar knows that he can't stay down. He has to put on a John Cena-like performance. He can't give up. Keeps kicking out of all the punishment. Santos Escobar catches Priest off guard and he lands a vicious Hurricane Rana. Santos looks at the crowd knowing what he's about to do next. Santos goes for a 619. Goes to the top. He lands a picture perfect frog splash. 1, 2, no. At this point, Finn Balor and Dominik Mysterio are worried and they come out there to help Damian Priest. Hulkling Wild and Cruz del Toro take care of both Balor and Dominik. While those four are brawling outside the ring, Damian Priest gets distracted and Santos Escobar takes care of the opportunity to pin Damian Priest off the distraction. Santos Escobar takes home the W for LWO. As soon as the match ends, Damian Priest is just pissed off. He manages to land a South of Heaven after the match against Santos Escobar. Now Rey Mysterio comes in for the save. He lands a perfect Hurricane Rana on Damian Priest and he lands a successful. Priest is lying down on the floor on the ropes. Dominik gets in the ring to confront Rey Mysterio. Dominik tells Rey to back off and he tells, don't you forget, WrestleMania, the match is made official. Hair versus mask, there's no running from that. There's no escape. LWO can't help you at WrestleMania. I have the Judgment Day by my side. The greatest faction of all time. There's no denying that. And now Dominik blindsides Rey Mysterio. He knocks him down with a punch. And Balor and Damian Priest get back up. They get in the ring. Balor picks up the microphone and turns towards the entrance ramp. And he says, and I know there's still one more of you back there. So now bring your ass in this ring or we come down there and we get you. But here comes a pissed off Carlito coming down to the ring with a steel chair. He runs in and starts bashing away the entire Judgment Day. Carlito has to fight against a 3-on-1 attack. Carlito uses the chair to his advantage and he lays out all three members of the Judgment Day flat on the canvas. Picks up the microphone, he says to Finn Balor, Elimination Chamber, be ready for your judgment. Carlito then drops the mic and he tries to get the fallen members of LWO back up on their feet. And that's how Raw goes off the air. I get it, it's overbooked that shit, but whatever. Later on that week on SmackDown, after the brutal brawls and everything that happened on Raw, LWO and Judgment Day are nowhere to be seen, and that was the go home show of the Elimination Chamber. So at the Elimination Chamber, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis meet once again backstage. Adam Pearce says, well, is this what you wanted? Raw is doing better than ever when it comes to ratings. More than SmackDown, actually. Yeah, I was thinking, since Judgment Day and LWO have some things going on personally, and that WrestleMania is approaching, I have a proposal for you. See, at WrestleMania, I want brand versus brand. Raw versus SmackDown. Adam Pearce's Judgment Day versus your LWO. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominik Mysterio, and JD McDonough versus Carlito, Santos Escobar, Hulkling Wild, and Cruz del Toro in a 8-man tag team match at WrestleMania. Nick Aldis then responds by saying, it's not a bad idea, but it's not a good idea. I'll give you my decision next week. So it's now time for Finn Balor vs Carlito at the Elimination Chamber. Both men walk out solo. There's no one else to be seen. It's a one-on-one match. The bell rings and then Carlito starts off with an aggressive pace. He trash talks Balor a lot in this match. Finn Balor looks to be in trouble, but Carlito just keeps dominating him. And there's only one thing that Finn Balor can do. cheat. Finn Balor gets the chair from underneath the ring, but Carlito snatches it out his hands. Carlito almost used the chair on himself though. His anger has gotten worse and worse and it can't be controlled. Finn Balor lures Carlito back into the ring and then he gets him down. Carlito is down, he's hurt. This is a perfect time to hit a coup de grace. Balor goes on top, gets Carlito in position, but nobody home. Carlito moves out the way. Carlito then takes Balor up to the top rope to do a superplex. And now Finn Balor seems unwillingly to take it. Now he does everything in his power to reverse. So he gets Carlito down to the mat and he lands a coup de grace. He goes for the cover. 1, 2, no. Kick out. Finn Balor is shocked. He doesn't know what to do next. So he goes for a 1916. 1, 2, no. What is happening? Carlito is superhuman. Carlito spits in the face of Balor and lands a devastating backstabber to Finn Balor. He looks at the fallen Finn Balor and he tells him, this is what the LWO do. Win fair. Another backstabber to Balor, and then he gets the 1, 2, 3. Carlito gets the clean, spotless victory against Finn Balor. Carlito then celebrates while Finn Balor is staring down a hole through Carlito. You can tell that something's about to happen on Monday Night Raw. The Raw after the Elimination Chamber, LWO is there and the entire group is in the ring. Carlito tries to speak, but then the Judgment Day's theme hits and they come. Here comes Balor, Mysterio, Priest, and McDonough, all four of them pissed off. They get inside the ring, they stare down LWO. Balor grabs the microphone and he says, you know you cheated at the Elimination Chamber, you know that, right? And I wasn't 100% because you decided to smash me with a steel chair a week before our match. Just to let you know that this ain't over until the Judgment Day go home standing tall. But just like Adam Pearce, I want the 8-man tag to be official. So I told my main man AP Adam Pearce to get the 8-man tag match official for WrestleMania. And you know, I still haven't heard back from him, but we'll have you know, there is no running. Especially after Dominik rips open the Ray's mask on night 1 at WrestleMania. He and the rest of Judgment Day will be ready to take all of you on in a 8-man tag team match on night 2. And now Nick Aldis comes out and he says that, oh no, I never agreed to the 8-man tag. See, I have something else in mind. It's still brand versus brand. It's still Raw versus SmackDown. It's still LWO versus Judgment Day. Carlito, Escobar, Wilde, Del Toro versus Balor, Priest, Mysterio, and McDonough inside Wargames. It is announced. With a few weeks away from WrestleMania, Wargames, it's finally announced, brother. It's announced, Wargames, bruh. Alright, so later in the week on SmackDown, Rey Mysterio is in the ring by himself. He doesn't have LWO because he doesn't want them there at the time. He says, see, the past few weeks have been pretty brutal. With everything going on, I feel that I'm sort of safe here from all the mayhem. But right now, I would like to talk about Dom. The boos start pouring down, but Rey Mysterio says, see Dom, don't you think that I forgot, because you're still getting your ass whooped at WrestleMania. But, you know, after hearing the announcement on Monday, I can see that you're pulling double duty at WrestleMania now. Now that's something I can respect. But something I can't respect is you terrorizing my LWO week in and week out with the Judgment Day. You and the Judgment Day have gone way too far. The line has been crossed. The fine line between I want to fight you and I need to fight you has sure as hell been crossed. So get this straight. At WrestleMania, after I beat you again, I'm gonna shave off all your hair. Now this triggers Dominik Mysterio to confront Rey. Dominik comes down to the ring saying, oh no. See, if I knew that I wasn't able to beat you, I wouldn't have asked you for this match. I am 1000% beating you and ripping open that mask at WrestleMania. And I don't have to keep repeating it, I only have to tell you once. Because come WrestleMania, I'm gonna rip that little mask off your stupid little deadbeat head. But the thing is, you seem real confident about this match. And then Rey Mysterio responds by saying, you're damn right. Because if I'm not confident, I lose everything. So you know, Dom, get ready to consider yourself a proposal. Because if I lose at WrestleMania, if and only somehow I end up losing, I will retire. Because that's how much I care about losing my mask. Clearly it doesn't mean anything to you, so what do you say? Now Dom is happy, he accepts the offer. So now after this promo we find out that if Rey Mysterio loses this match, it will be the final match of his career. The next week on Monday Night Raw we get a backstage promo from the Judgment Day, and Balor states that Wargames, huh? Are you trying to get yourself killed? Trapped in a giant cage with unlimited weapons, no rules, nowhere to escape, trapped inside with all of us. See, Nick Aldis, the only outcome of making this match official is that you're gonna have every single member of LWO injured and on the shelf after Wargame. Because the Judgment Day, we don't hold back. And that's all he said. Later in the night, we see a backstage response from LWO. Santos Escobar says that we've got your message. And see, inside Wargames, there's nothing stopping us from ending all of it. See, it was actually our idea to ask for Nick Aldis for the War Games match. And now after War Games, there's not going to be a Judgment Day. Now as we arrive your judgment, on SmackDown there's a War Games Advantage match. So we're sending in Cruz del Toro and Hawkwind Wild to face any two of you for the advantage. And that's how the promo ends. Later on that week on SmackDown, the match is set. Hawkwind Wild and Cruz del Toro versus which other two members of the Judgment Day? Well, it is Finn Balor and JD McDonald. The match starts and it starts as normal. The entire point of this match is to see who gets the advantage inside of War Games. And now Cruz del Toro and Hawkwind Wild really get their moment to shine, showing off how good their moveset really is. And now while Balor is down, Cruz del Toro and Hawkwind Wild double team JD McDonough, which lead them to get the advantage at War Games. They pin JD McDonald's and then they get the advantage. So now later in that night, Nick Aldis and Pierce meet once again. Nick Aldis gets in the face of Adam Pierce saying that, you see that? LWO just got the advantage, while your little Judgment Day are now down in the deeps. Now Adam Pierce gets mad and he replies by saying, look, War Games advantage match is a waste of time. It doesn't mean shit. What you should be worried about is winning when it matters and not when it doesn't. So why don't you ride along? I'm pretty sure you got a shorter book. So the next Monday Night Raw, it is the last Raw before WrestleMania. The entire Judgment Day is in the ring, more united than ever. All 5 of them, including Rhea Ripley, which we haven't seen in this storyline, mostly because she's feuding with other people on her own. And now Balor starts off the promo by saying, we run Monday Night Raw, whether you like it or not. We've been running the red brand for years now, and we've got Rhea tormenting Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan every week. We have my main man JD. We've got Senior Money in the Bank, and ho ho ho. And don't you think this briefcase is a toy? Because at WrestleMania, it don't matter if it's Seth, it don't matter if it's Gunther, it don't matter if it's Roman, it don't matter if it's Cody. Damian Priest got his eyes set on that title. And how can I forget my main man, Dommy Boy? The man that's gonna tear apart Rey Mysterio and destroy every bit of legacy he has in the hair versus mask match at WrestleMania as LWO waits to be beaten inside War Games. They're going to have to see if they can make it there. I've seen at least one of you lurking around backstage on our show. So if there's one of you here, I damn well know that there's a lot of you here. So you know what? Let's go find them. And now Balor has fully gone insane. This man was yelling the entire time he was speaking. He's gone delusional, he's gone insane. He wants Judgment. So he gets Judgment Day out the ring, and he goes on to find LWO backstage to launch a backstage attack on them. Later in the night, we see a segment where Rey Mysterio is chilling alone backstage, but he gets jumped by Judgment Day again. As Judgment Day beat down Rey Mysterio, the rest of LWO come to the aid of Rey Mysterio, and now Judgment Day and LWO are getting in a massive brawl, leading both Adam Pierce and Nick Aldis to be summoned. As both of them are trying to break up the madness, Aldis screams, "Is this what you wanted, huh?" And now Adam Pierce says, "Oh hell yeah, this is exactly what you're gonna see at War Games." Now Nick Aldis is completely pissed because the LWO is getting their asses beat. At this point, Judgment Day has laid all of LWO on the floor, and all of Judgment Day leave the scene. And now Adam Pierce looks at Nick Aldis trying to help LWO get back onto their feet, and then he smiles. and then leaves. Adam Pearce is a fucking heel, bro. What the hell? It's the go-home show for WrestleMania Friday Night SmackDown, and after a brutal beating from the Judgment Day a few days ago, LWO are in the ring. They are back, ready to fight at Wargames on night 2 of WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio starts yelling, LWO always comes back. Doesn't matter if they get brutally beat on Monday or inside the War Games, you can do whatever you want inside that cage. Carlito takes over now. See, you can get any weapons you want. Anything and everything is legal inside those cages. And LWO ain't afraid to use that to our advantage. Inside the War Games, the LWO will make the GM of SmackDown Nick Aldis proud by putting an end to the Judgment Day. Ray takes over again and he grabs the mic from Carlito and says, "Oh, and Dominik, if there's a single little tiny part of you that even thinks that at WrestleMania you're gonna beat Rey Mysterio and take my mask off and retire me, you've got something real wrong inside your head. And trust me, your head's been messed up since you decided to rather get your head stuck between Rhea Ripley's thighs than loving your own father. So believe me when I say this, WrestleMania, when I pin you clean for the second time in a row, I hope and I pray that you learn something for once. Just one thing from all of this. Or else, at WrestleMania, it's not going to be father or son. It's going to be Dominik versus Rey Mysterio. Rey smashes the mic on the floor. At this point, the Judgment Day show up on SmackDown and they just stand there menacingly on the entrance ramp. Adam Pearce runs to the entrance ramp and goes in front of them. He tells Judgment Day not to attack this time. And now, at that time, Nick Aldis also comes out to the ring and he goes inside the ring where LWO is standing and he stands right in front of LWO. Both Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce agreed that they don't want any sort of brawls or of any type on the last show before WrestleMania. They want to keep it peaceful. Now the segment ends with all the men staring at each other knowing that their lives on the line inside of that cage. But before we get to War Game, on night 1, we have Rey Mysterio versus Dominik Mysterio in a hair versus mask match. Rey Mysterio comes out with his normal entrance. He tries his best to really interact with the crowd, knowing that this might be his last match he'll ever wrestle in. And then Dom comes out. This man comes out with no music, no Tritantron, and it is all you hear is just boos raining inside of Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. Something I forgot to mention is that this match is also a no DQ match, so anything kind of goes. But it wasn't really too important in the storyline, so I really didn't mention it. Now Dominik and Rey are standing face to face, ready to tear each other apart. Same as last year, but this time there's a lot more on the line. If Dom loses, his hair is gone. If Rey loses, his legacy is gone. The bell rings. Both men go at it. It doesn't take too long for both of them to go outside the ring. Dominik tries to grab a kendo stick and beat Rey Mysterio with it. He says, "It's all over. This is it. You've had all your fun and games. After this match, there's no more." Dominik keeps trash talking Rey Mysterio, but now Rey can't let this happen. He gotta fight back. He can't keep getting his ass. So Rey gets Dominik back inside the ring and he starts beating his ass with his belt. Rey goes for the pin, but that doesn't work. He goes for a frog splash and somehow manages to land it. He goes for the pin again, but that doesn't put Dom away. Dom screams to Rey, "I'm more than just your son. I'm the man that's going to retire you." And he starts pounding away, blow after blow after blow. Dominik is being real aggressive in this match, even after getting beat with the bell, and even after taking a frog splash right to the ribs. Dominik takes Rey to the top turnbuckle. He does a Hurricane Rana, and now as Rey gets up for the attack, and now as Rey gets up from the Hurricane Rana, Dominik dials a 619, but Rey reverses it. Rey Mysterio now gets Dominik in the 619 position, and he successfully lands it. He goes for another frog splash because he knows that it wasn't enough. Rey thought that this would be a lot more easier, but Dominik is just not staying down. His pride and ego outgrew him for the better. It's kick out after kick out after kick out. Almost 20 minutes in the match, Dominik is tired. He goes up to the top for a frog splash, and he manages to land it. He goes for the pin, but no. Rey kicks out. Then he dials up a 619, and it works. Rey Mysterio's face is now hopeless as he's down on the floor, begging for mercy. Dominik grabs Rey by the head. He picks him up and says, You're nothing but a deadbeat son of a bitch. And then he knocks Ray out. He takes the opportunity to land a final frog splash on Ray. And now Dominik goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. This motherfucker has somehow managed to pin Rey Mysterio. As soon as the bell rings, he straight away rips off Rey's mask. The entire crowd is genuinely shocked at the ending. People are loud as fuck. This man is getting go home heat. The FU chants are raining like water. This man looks at Rey Mysterio's mask, takes one good look at Rey while he's down on the floor, and he leaves the ring. And now as he's walking out the ring, he carries the torn mask of Rey Mysterio down with him. And that's how it ends. Absolutely mental. Rey Mysterio is officially retired from wrestling now, and that was his last match and final send-off. Later in the night, in a backstage segment at WrestleMania, we see Dominik showing off the rest of the Judgment Day, the mask of Rey Mysterio. They all congratulate Dominik and they prepare him for Wargames for night 2. It's night 2 of WrestleMania and it is time for Wargames. Before the match begins, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce join Michael Cole and Wade Barrett as special guest commentators. Dominik Mysterio and Hulk Wild are the first ones to start the match. The match starts off slow, but you know, the crowd, they're hating Dominik because of what he did last night. Every bit of reaction this man gets is absolutely negative, which makes sense. He takes care of Hulkling Wild, but then Cruz del Toro comes in. Both members of the LWO team up on Dominik and get him down. At this point, Damian Priest is coming in and he gets a bunch of weapons. He gets as much as he can, and then he gets in the ring, and as soon as he gets in the ring, he sets up a table. He puts Cruz del Toro through the table, and now Santos Escobar is coming in for the save. The next one in is Santos Escobar, and then he and Cruz del Toro team up on Damian Priest. They both put him down, and then Finn Balor comes in and he gets a few weapons. He starts bashing Cruz del Toro with the kendo stick. Finn Balor moves over to the other ring, and then he has something in mind, something diabolical in mind. He sets up a table, he puts Hulkling Wild on the table, and then proceeds to slowly climb to the top of the cage, and then he looks at the table, and then he lands a coup de grace over 10 feet in the air right onto Hulkling Wild. The table goes splat, and now he doesn't go for the pin because Wargames hasn't started. So then Carlito comes in. He doesn't really do anything that eventful. And then JD McDonough is the last one to come in. Wargames has officially begun. All 8 men are in the ring, brutally beating the living shit out of each other. And it's legit a pure spot fest. Like, it's just pure chaos. It's been over 30 minutes since the first 2 men have entered. And it's very, very late into the match. And now almost everyone is laying down in the match, but there's still fights going on. But Balor sees Carlito lying down on the floor, and he takes advantage of that opportunity. He wants to get revenge from what Carlito did to him at the Elimination Chamber. So Finn Balor lands a coup de grace to Carlito, but then he does it one more time. He does another coup de grace to Carlito, and then Finn Balor goes for the pin, and Balor gets the job done. He pins Carlito after failing to do so at the Elimination Chamber. The Judgment Day has won Wargames. The LWO lost and the Judgment Day are victorious. Team Raw won Wargames. Adam Pearce is proud of Judgment Day while Nick Aldis is pissed off at LWO for losing. Judgment Day and Adam Pearce now celebrate their victory in the ring, and that's how the Judgment Day versus the LWO saga ends. Io Sky versus Bayley at WrestleMania. That's what's happening. So it's hard for me to decide if I wanted to keep this match a singles match or a triple threat to add Dakota Kai into the match. But I asked my community and you guys decided this match should be a singles match. Just Io and Bayley, so that's what we're doing. Now, I decided to have this match at WrestleMania before Kairi Sane returned to WWE. So I don't really know how to book her, so let's just pretend she doesn't exist. So by the way, I'm recording this video before Survivor Series, so let's just hope Damage Control take the dub. So after Damage Control beat Team Bianca at Survivor Series, the team of Bayley, Io, Asuka, and Kairi Sane are stronger than ever. After Survivor Series, Asuka goes off solo, but still have Damage Control as their allies. And then after the Royal Rumble, Kairi Sane also ventures off into her solo career. So now all there is back to being Io Sky and Bayley. So those are the only two left. At this time, Dakota Kai isn't really on TV that much. You know, she's still injured, she's still recovering. So there's no point in there's not really a lot of points for having her on TV, so yeah. So after the Royal Rumble, Io Sky gets word that she has to defend her WWE Women's Championship against 5 other women inside the Elimination Chamber. She's shocked when she has to hear this because the people who qualified for the match are Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Nia Jax, Chelsea Green, and Raquel Rodriguez. Almost every single one of those women are tough. They are big, they've been champion before, and they want to be champion again. So later on that SmackDown, Damage Control come out to discuss their opponents at the Elimination Chamber. So Bayley hypes up Io Sky, saying that at the Elimination Chamber, Io Sky will retain her WWE Women's Championship successfully against every single woman in the match. Bayley keeps rambling on about Io's opponent and doesn't let Io talk. She doesn't give Io a chance to talk. Soon enough, Io Sky grabs the mic right out of Bayley's hands and says, "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I have to be in the same ring with the likes of Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Raquel Rodriguez, or Nia Jax. At the end of the match, they're gonna announce me as and still women's champion." The whole time Io Sky was cutting that little promo, Bayley was just looking at her like, what? Why did she grab the microphone out of my hand? Like, what? So now we fast forward to the Elimination Chamber, and throughout the weeks building up to the Elimination Chamber, we see Bayley and Io Sky disagreeing a little bit more. They start to like not be on the same page a lot. So anyways, we're at the Elimination Chamber, and it's not really too important in the storyline. Bayley's not in the match. So Io Sky successfully retains her championship without the help of Bayley or Dakota. So it's a big win for Io. So now the SmackDown after the Elimination Chamber, Damage Control is out in the ring to celebrate. So now Bayley is running late to the show, so the only person in the ring right now is Io Sky. She says that I've been champion for a few months now, and I defended this very championship against many, many future Hall of Famers. It's clear to me that I don't have anyone to defend this championship against at WrestleMania. So whoever wants to get their hands on this championship, come down here and confront me. So Io Sky basically just demanded an open challenge at WrestleMania. So she's waiting for a response, but then the person that confronts Io Sky is Bayley. Everyone is shocked, especially Io, because she didn't know. So while Bayley is coming down to the ring, she tells Io the truth. Bayley says, "See, Io, I wasn't running late to SmackDown because I was letting you be. See, I was late to SmackDown because it seems like you don't need my help anymore. I'm the leader of Damage Control. I'm the person who kept you from getting fired. I'm the person who convinced you before SummerSlam when all 3 of us debut as Damage Control. See, Damage Control was supposed to be all about me, all about Bayley. Out of both you and Dakota, I have the most star power. I'm the one who's been around longer, and I've been the one who everyone loves. See, I've been getting real pissed off ever since you won that title. Because, see, it was supposed to be me. It was always supposed to be me. I fought and battled many times against Bianca Belair for that title, and I lost every single one of them. And you thought it was okay? You thought it was okay to just do it in a few seconds? You came out there with your little Money in the Bank briefcase and capitalized on what I couldn't do over and over again? That made me mad. See, Damage Control started because I needed to be a world champion. I needed to elevate myself using you both. See, you and Dakota were supposed to be my little backup dancers. When I saw you holding your own without me, needing less and less of my help, that's a real good reason on why I need to take that title away from you. See, you stealing every bit of my relevancy is gonna take a dark toll in your future. Because my chest right now feels a lot lighter than it did before because I've been holding that in for a long time. So don't take this with a grain of salt. Take this as your biggest threat to that championship. And now Io is completely starstruck by what Bayley has said. She didn't know that she felt that way, but it made sense. Ever since Asuka and Kairi joined the Damage Control, Bayley has been left out more and more. Every time she's with Damage Control, she feels like the third wheeler. She feels like the odd one out. Obviously, the leader of the group would have the most ego, which is why Bayley turned heel on her Damage Control member. And now Io is officially a face. It's about time. Like, who wants to boo Io Sky? Come on. So while in the ring, Io Sky has no words, and she just proceeds to leave the ring after getting betrayed by Bayley. The next week, we see a backstage interviewer asking Bayley on why she decided to do what she did last week. She says that, wouldn't it piss you off if the student became more successful than the teacher? The interviewer says no, it wouldn't. But then Bayley stops her and says, yes it would, and I'm sick of it. I let her have her moment, and now at WrestleMania I'm going to take all of it away from her. And then she leaves. Later on in the night, Io Sky is backstage talking to Dakota Kai, and then Bayley comes in to ruin it. She says, well, if it isn't my two little non-charismatic low-life dweebs together. See, I just came out here to give Dakota a piece of my mind, but it seems like you probably told her everything that I said. And now Dakota says to Bayley, see, I don't know where you got all that attitude from, but it needs to stop. If we want to dominate, we need... And then Bayley cuts Dakota off and she says, Damage Control is no more. It's all over. And then she leaves the scene. So this is the end of Damage Control, and they are no longer a faction anymore. Io and Dakota go back to talking after Bayley leaves, and now it seems like Bayley has turned on Dakota too, so yeah. 4 weeks away from WrestleMania, Io Sky has some things to tell about Bayley. She's in the ring with the microphone, and she's been, holding up her own ever since she's been, going solo. She's been fine on her own, perfectly fine without the help of Bayley. She starts out by saying, Bayley, if you wanted the WWE Women's Championship, then so be it. I came too far into this reign to turn anyone and anything down. But just so you know, you're the one who started this. And that's all Io says. She drops the mic on the floor, and then next week we get a response from Bayley in a backstage promo. She's backstage and she starts out by saying, Io, you're accusing me of starting all of this? You're the one who's been taking away every ounce of opportunity away from me. Ever since you won that title, I've been treated like crap. You pushed me off to the side, and you became the one in the middle. Ever since you won that title, you took my leadership role away from me. Pushed me off to the side and hanging out with everyone besides me. At WrestleMania, I'm gonna take that title away from you, and I'll make sure that every single person in that arena cares only about me, because the world revolves around me, Bayley. And that's how the little promo segment ends. So week in and week out, Bayley has been getting more and more delusional. Her main motive for going for Io is mainly because she's jealous of her success. So the next week, we have 2 more weeks before WrestleMania. So Io Sky gets attacked by Bayley backstage. She beats up Io Sky real good, no weapons, just fists. Bayley leaves Io Sky on the ground and makes her statement known. It's more than personal. They're getting real physical before the match. So later on in the night, Bayley goes onto the ring with a strong attitude. She starts out by saying, is this your WWE champion? Well, if it is, she just got laid down on the floor by the next WWE Women's Champion. Now, I have no idea why you people would ever cheer for her, but it should have been me. I should have been your champion right now. I should have been the WWE champion right now, and I should be the one giving Io an opportunity, not her giving the mentor an opportunity. So what I did to Io earlier is only a tiny glimpse of what I'm capable of. And after I reclaim what's mine at WrestleMania, peace will be restored. And Bayley drops the mic and leaves. The next week, Io Sky and Bayley are not seen in the building, and then the next week is the SmackDown before WrestleMania, and things are getting a bit intense. Io Sky is once again in the ring, solo with the microphone. She starts out by saying, "I never met anyone cold-blooded as Bayley. I trusted her to make me into the best superstar possible, but I thought that she would be proud of my success. Instead, she's using my success to her own benefit, and she's jealous of all of it." 2 weeks ago, Bayley had done some pretty hard damage to me, and I don't know if I'm 100% at WrestleMania. But I never back down from anyone, and Bayley, you are getting this match at WrestleMania. At this point, Bayley comes out to the ring to confront Io Sky. She starts off by saying, "Io, there's a lot more to this than jealousy. See, at SummerSlam 2022, when all three of us confronted Bianca, Belair, and Becky Lynch, it was made clear that me, Bayley, should have went for the title shot. And you did. I got multiple. And you and Dakota were supposed to do everything in your power to make sure I won that title. But what did you do? On Extreme Rules, you could have done something, but you didn't. Same with the last woman standing match at Crown Jewel. You failed me. Doesn't matter if you're successful right now, you failed me as a student, and you failed me to win that title. So when I tell you this, you better look me in my eyes. I will make sure to do everything in my power to humble you and take that title away from you." Io Sky then speaks and says, "Bayley, the only thing bigger than your ego right now is your ability to even think about taking this title away from me. You had opportunity after opportunity to win this title, but you never could. When I did, I thought you were proud, but I should have known people like you. Out of everyone I was supposed to look out for, it was you, the one person that I trusted, attacking me from behind, betraying me with zero hesitation. But if you feel like betraying your own creation, so be it. But if you think that you're capable of beating me for this title, I would believe you, because the only thing that you've been for the last few weeks is delusional." And then Io leaves the ring. And that was the last promo slash segment before WrestleMania. So it is now time for WrestleMania. Io Sky versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship, the co-main event of night one. Both Io and Bayley are in the ring and the match begins. Both of them are fighting for one thing, and that is the Women's Championship. Io does really well in this match, showing why she's improved as an in-ring competitor and a superstar with the help of Bayley. And now Bayley is really hurt at this point. Io Sky gets most of the offense in. Bayley gets a tiny bit of offense, but not a lot. The match goes on for like around 15 minutes, and then Io lands the final moonsault, and she retains her championship. Not too much of a crazy match, just a overall good wrestling match. Not a lot of spots. Obviously, Io's, showing off her, why she needs to be given more opportunities. And yeah, Io retains her title against Bayley. Well, I made it to the final video of booking WrestleMania 40 Night 1. Gunther vs Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship will be the main event of my Night 1. So I'm recording this video a few days after CM Punk returned to WWE, and it looks like Seth vs Punk is happening at WrestleMania. So Gunther, Seth, I don't think that's probably happening, but I'm still gonna make a video on it because I already made a video about CM Punk, and that's just gonna mess up my whole storyline, so we're gonna do this video. So Seth Rollins does hold his title up until WrestleMania. And Gunther, on the other hand, I was really thinking long and hard about this, but I would legit have him hold the IC title while fighting for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. It might sound a bit crazy, but hear me out. So the storyline starts at the Royal Rumble. Gunther is still champion, and he comes out at number 1 just like he did in 2023. And number 2 would be Chad Gable, both with serious history, 2 men collaborating a way to fight for a world title opportunity at WrestleMania. Gable almost manages to eliminate Gunther early in the match, but he stays in. But then Gable gets eliminated late in the match. So currently Gunther has been in the ring for over an hour. He's fought and clawed his way through the Rumble, eliminating a bunch of people. The only man in his way now is Cody Rhodes. It's the final two people in the Rumble. It's Cody Rhodes, it's Gunther. No one else left to come in. Whoever gets eliminated loses, and whoever, eliminates gets the win. So just like last year, Cody and Gunther have a little mini match for around 10 minutes. Cody is trying to get back to Roman to finish the story, and then Gunther is trying to win the Rumble to go on to become world champion. Towards the end of the match, after a hard fought battle, Gunther manages to eliminate Cody Rhodes, and he wins the match. Gunther is now going to face the world champion of his choosing at WrestleMania in the main event. Gunther stands tall while looking at Cody Rhodes failing to get the job done. The Raw after the Royal Rumble, Imperium is in the ring about to tell the world who Gunther will face at WrestleMania. He starts off by saying, "I am the Intercontinental Champion, and I, Gunther, will face Seth Rollins in the main event of WrestleMania and become a double champion." For the past 3 years, ever since I stepped foot on the main roster, my statement has been made clear as the biggest and baddest beast on the roster. After I lasted for more than an hour, twice coming out the Royal Rumble at number 1 twice, and now Gunther gives Seth his warning shots. You need to count your days because I'm coming for your title, and trust me when I say this, I'm gonna be the most hardest person you ever defended that title against. So Gunther makes his statement known. He tells Seth Rollins that he's coming for him and the World Heavyweight Championship, and then he leaves the ring. It has been made official. Seth freaking Rollins versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at the main event of WrestleMania. Later in the night, Seth Rollins comes down to the ring. He's not dancing, he's not smiling, he's very serious. He takes off his sunglasses and he looks deep into the hard cam. He says, "I know who I'm dealing with at WrestleMania. Gunther is the Intercontinental Champion, reigning for almost 2 years, never being pinned for over 3 years, dominating every single person who stepped in the ring with him. So I ain't no idiot, but I'm also not gonna stand out here complimenting him. So Gunther, get your ass on out of here. I wanna see you face to face." So Gunther alongside Imperium circle around the ring. So yeah, Gunther does show up and he surrounds Seth Rollins. Now Seth Rollins is outnumbered. While the 3 members of Imperium are surrounding Seth, Gunther has a microphone and says, "Is this what you asked for?" while going face to face with Seth Rollins. Both men go face to face, staring a hole down each other. Now this is Seth's biggest challenge during his title reign and Gunther's biggest opponent as Intercontinental Champion. Gunther says, "Hello, old friend," and he smiles. And he smiles at Seth. Seth then responds by saying, "Oh, no, don't you play games with me, pal. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to threaten me. You're trying to make me feel like the underdog." Well, Gunther, frankly, I have some news to share with you. I am not quite the underdog. I'm the People's World Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion of WWE. And then Gunther stops Seth Rollins and he lets him know that you may be the World Champ, but for the past 2 years, I've been making this title worth fighting for, excelling the prestige of this title to an all-time high, the highest it's ever been. I'm the greatest Intercontinental Champion, so what makes you even think in the slight moment that I can't take away that title from you easily? So come WrestleMania, Seth, I will become double champion." Gunther drops the mic and he leaves. He leaves Seth Rollins shocked. Now this is the last time we see Seth Rollins and Gunther until after the Elimination Chamber. So since Seth and Gunther are fighting champions at the Elimination Chamber, Gunther is facing Bronson Reed for the Intercontinental Championship, and Seth Rollins is facing Chad Gable for his World Heavyweight Championship. Somehow, I don't know why. Both men retain their respective titles at the Elimination Chamber, and they have their confidence to an all-time high. The Raw after Elimination Chamber, Gunther has an announcement. He starts off by saying, "It's a great day to beat Gunther. I beat Bronson Reed in Australia. Seth Rollins retained against a clown called Chad Gable. In less than 6 weeks, I finally get my hands on the World Heavyweight Championship. But before I get to that, I have something to tell you. At WrestleMania, there will be a fatal 5-way match consisting of 5 failures who manage to lose to the ring general. All 5 men will compete in an Intercontinental #1 Contenders Ladder match at WrestleMania to determine who will face me after I win the World Heavyweight Championship and keep my Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Now shifting my attention towards Seth Rollins. I hope you know who I am because I know you're scared. The right after Royal Rumble, you demanded for me to come down to the middle of this ring to go face to face, and I did exactly what you asked for. I made my statement known. See, Seth, I'm holding gold, and you know, that's great and all, but you can never have enough gold. At this point, Seth Rollins confronts Gunther and makes his entrance. Seth is now face to face with Gunther again for the 2nd time in a row. Seth is annoyed, goes off. He says, you know, Gunther, ever since you won the Rumble, I had respect for you. Everything that you did with that title. The only negative thing I said about you is that you're not gonna walk out of WrestleMania as World Heavyweight Champion. So what's the problem? If you want to keep taking shots at me, we can make this personal. So if you think you're confident, why don't we up the antiques? Why don't you put your Intercontinental Championship on the line and make it a double title match? Winner takes all. Gunther looks at himself, seeming a tiny bit nervous to reply. When he hears the news, Gunther leaves the ring without giving Seth Rollins an answer. And that's how that segment ends. We still need to find out if Gunther accepts the challenge or not. So the next week, we see Seth Rollins in the ring waiting for an answer. He starts off by saying, "Oh, it's been 7 days, too many. I want my answer. I'm sick of waiting. The patience inside of me has been bursting with curiosity. We're live on Monday Night Raw. I know you're back there." And now Seth gets interrupted by Imperium. Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser confront Seth Rollins and they slowly walk to the ring. They look at Seth and they just start beating Seth Rollins down. It's a 2-on-1 handicap attack. Seth Rollins is down. Vinci and Kaiser are absolutely tumbling Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is hurt and he is down. The attack is pure brutal and it's all because of Gunther. So at this point, while Seth is down, Gunther makes his entrance, proud of his boys. He gets in the ring and looks at Seth Rollins, picks him up and gives Seth a powerbomb. And then one more to make his statement known. Gunther grabs the mic and tells Seth, yes, I accept your proposal because I have nothing to worry about. And then he leaves. So we finally got the answer. This match will now be for the heavyweight title and the IC title. Winner will take all. Later in the night, we see a backstage interview and Gunther is asked on why you attacked Seth Rollins tonight. Now Gunther says that Seth needs to be put down. He's a lion trying to fight a beast. What I did out there needed to be done, and now I gotta let him know because there's no one else. And the only one who can let him know is me because there is no one else that can threaten him like I can. His ego and confidence needs to be put an end to, and I'm the only one that can do it. Gunther then storms off. The next week on Raw, Seth Rollins is busy, not with Gunther, but with CM Punk. Heel CM Punk. So heel CM Punk is in the ring and he calls out Seth Rollins and they have a little altercation. Nothing too important for this storyline, but if you guys want to look deeper into it, I made the entire video about CM Punk. You guys can go check it out. So yeah. So later in the night, we see a backstage promo from Gunther and Imperium. So all of them are there. Gunther and Giovanni are talking while Ludwig Kaiser isn't really in the conversation. Gunther and Vinci talk game plan for Mania, but then Ludwig Kaiser is in the corner and he tries to get the attention of Gunther, but he gets ignored. And then eventually he just leaves the scene. So the tensions between Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther are brewing, and it's seeming like Ludwig Kaiser will break off into a singles competitor more and more as the weeks go on. I'll further elaborate on this little mini story in a separate video because I do have Ludwig Kaiser on the WrestleMania card. So anyways, the next week things get intense. It's announced that a face-to-face will happen between Gunther and Seth Rollins. Rollins comes down to the ring, not looking too happy. He seems like ever since Gunther won the Royal Rumble, his attitude has been shifted to an opposite side of what he usually is. He's usually singing, dancing, having a good time, but we've seen none of that for the past few weeks. Before Seth can even get a word in, Gunther comes down to the ring with only Giovanni Vinci and no Ludwig Kaiser. Gunther has been making it clear that he's tough and he's the biggest threat to Seth Rollins' championship. Every single time these two are face to face in the ring with each other, the crowd is just always electric. Seth starts off the promo by saying, "You know, you've changed a lot. The last time we met in the ring bell to bell was Survivor Series 2019 when you were Walter, when you were in NXT, when there wasn't tension between your Imperium, when you weren't terrorizing Monday Night Rollins. Everyone knows that I'm the face of Monday Night Raw, and you know it. You only have 3 more weeks until you find out how much I've changed. Because all I need to do is put you down for the 1, 2, 3. Gunther then stops Seth Rollins and he says, "You're saying you've changed. In 2020 you were trying to pop an eye socket out. In 2021 you were gooed in the face. In 2022 you failed to win the WWE Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. So in 2023 they made an entire championship with your name on it. See, you've changed for the worse and I changed for the better. Look at me 2 years ago. Look at me now. I did more with the Intercontinental Championship than you could ever do in your entire career. Coming up on 3 years on the main roster, I still haven't been pinned once. How many people can go around saying what I say, doing what I do, and creating a legacy in a short amount of time that I do? Not many. So Seth, I hope you understand. As the weeks go by, you know that your time is up. And at WrestleMania, I'm gonna walk out with the Intercontinental Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship." Oh, no, 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 no. I don't think so, pal. I came way too far to be put down by someone like you. Someone who can't even manage 2 people. Someone who doesn't even care about what I made this title into. I'm the first World Heavyweight Champion, and after WrestleMania, everyone will go back to calling me Seth 2 belts because that's who I will be after WrestleMania. Seth then tries to leave the ring, but then Gunther attacks Seth in the ring. Gunther is furious. He can't stand all the verbal attacks that Seth Rollins is shooting at him, so he blindsides Seth Rollins and starts beating him down by himself. He gets the upper hand against Seth Rollins and he makes his statement known. All these weeks, Gunther isn't afraid to get physical on Seth. If you know he has to, he will beat him down. But this is going to take a dark toll on Gunther the next week. So the Raw after that little promo / beatdown, Seth Rollins blindsides Gunther in the backstage area. Seth Rollins gets revenge on Gunther. Seth is beating Gunther down. He uses chairs, kendos, all types of weapons, letting Gunther know what's in store for him at WrestleMania. But then Gunther has had enough. He's the ring general in and out of the ring. He gets his ass up like he's scared of the 6 and then lets Seth know that he's got properties and standards. He picks himself up and he starts chopping away. He keeps saying, "I'm the ring general for a reason. Not a single man has ever attacked me backstage, and you're finding out why." And while Gunther is just chopping away Seth Rollins, Seth's chest is completely bruised from all the chops, and then Gunther leaves Seth Rollins laying on the floor, and then Gunther leaves getting the upper hand against Seth Rollins. So after Gunther leaves, Seth is genuinely in shock to what Gunther had done to him. He's laying on the floor and he realized that he's all alone. No one is coming to help him. He starts to realize that he's not what he used to be. So later on that night, Gunther is in the ring furious and he storms off in the ring and he starts off by saying, "I'm tired of this. I won the Royal Rumble from number 1 and this is who my opponent is. What a disgrace. What a complete disgrace to this sport. A champion who can't even survive outside the ring. A champion who is not ready to face Gunther. The same people who want Seth Rollins to be champion is the same people who wish that I lose at WrestleMania. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you better pray, and pray some more, because every single one of you will be wrong. He might be Seth freaking Rollins, but the ring general never fails." Seth Rollins now comes out through the curtains to confront Gunther. He is barely standing. He's hurt, he's bruised, he's battered, barely able to stand on one leg. He has a microphone in his hands and says, "I always come back. You think you might got the upper hand now, but you wait. You just wait. Meanwhile, Gunther is in the ring just smiling at Seth Rollins. You know, he sees that Seth can barely even speak. He can barely walk. So at WrestleMania, it's a light work. So now the next week is the Raw before WrestleMania. With only a few more days before Seth Rollins and Gunther main event night 1 of WrestleMania, Seth Rollins is seen in a backstage interview. He seems to be feeling a bit more better, a bit more relaxed, less anxious about having to deal with Gunther. Now the interviewer tells Seth how he's holding up with the brutal attacks coming from Gunther. Now Seth tells her to look at me. Look what that man has done to me. Never in my life have seen someone more hungry to fight for the championship in my life. But I'm not a man who gets knocked down without giving a receipt at the end. So as soon as I find him, I'm gonna tear him apart. I'm gonna rip him down to shreds. And then Gunther comes in and blindsides Seth Rollins. He attacks him, but Seth Rollins dodges the attack. Gunther gets blindsided by Seth. Gunther didn't really know that Seth would actually put up a fight, but he's on the floor. And the pure aggressiveness from Seth Rollins has grew to an all-time high. Rollins lands a curb stomp on the fucking concrete and makes his statement known against Gunther. Rollins leaves Gunther on the floor to suffer. Final segment before WrestleMania ends with Gunther on the floor and Rollins ready to go toe-to-toe with Gunther at WrestleMania. So now it is time. The build is over. The main event of night 1 is here. After an insane night, the Intercontinental Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Seth makes his entrance confident that he has a chance to be the first person to pin Gunther clean on the main roster, a chance to get back to being a feared superstar. Seth Rollins is trying his best not to break down. Then Gunther arrives. No introduction from Ludwig Kaiser, no Vinci, no Kaiser, just him. He looks like a star, having his Intercontinental Championship around his waist, the 2024 Royal Rumble winner, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, ready to face Seth Rollins. The bell has rung. These two men go at it right away. All the waiting is over, the mayhem has begun, and Gunther with chop after chop after chop. Seth trying to fight back, landing a pedigree early in the match. He caught Gunther off guard and he tried to capitalize. But sooner rather than later, Gunther gets back up and he starts really getting into it, grabbing Seth and putting him down on the floor with ease. Seth and Gunther's back and forth in this match is really showing. The crowd is really on Seth's side because they feel bad for all the punishment that he's went through before the match. So with the help of the crowd, Seth gets back up and he lands a curb stomp to Gunther. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, no, Gunther kicks out. 25 minutes into the match, after many kickouts, many finishers, these two men are still in the ring. They're still fighting because they know what's on the line. And now this is how the match ends. Both Seth and Gunther are laying down on the floor, but they get up screaming at each other. Gunther then takes the opportunity and he gets Seth Rollins high up and he lands a powerbomb. Gunther then looks at Seth. Gunther then picks Seth up and he gives him the nastiest chop in the entirety of mankind. Then he goes on the top rope and lands a massive splash. Gunther picks up Seth once again and he lands a lariat clothesline and he goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Gunther has pinned Seth Rollins. Oh my, is Damian Priest with the referee coming down to the ring. Priest is about to cash in. Priest is about to cash in his Money in the Bank contract. Gunther's shocked while in the ring. What is happening? Priest tells the announcer that he's cashing in for the World Heavyweight Championship. He gets in the ring. Priest lands a South of Heaven to Gunther. He goes for the pin. And he gets the 1 count. He gets the 2 count. But no. Did you really think Gunther would win the title and then lose it after a few minutes? No. Gunther picks up his ass from the canvas and he picks up Damian Priest. He lands a triple powerbomb to end Damian Priest's dreams right there on the spot. Gunther retains, and Damian Priest's cash-in was unsuccessful. Gunther walks out of WrestleMania as Intercontinental Champion and World Heavyweight Champion, a star-making performance, beating both Seth and Damian Priest after the match. Both Seth and Priest are laying down on the floor, and that's how night 1 of WrestleMania goes off the air. Pretty wild. I mean, I think I am a little proud of myself for, not quitting halfway through the series. But this is night 1 and I always do both nights. So night 2 will be the next batch of videos. There will be 7 more booking videos. I'll see you guys in night 2. The first match of night 2 will be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, mate. So yeah, I'll see you guys in that video. Other than that, peace out.